Well, good evening. Baba Jaso Jumedie. So live on OK 101.7 FM. So Ship House Albeka Junction. I do be good evening to you. Good evening, Pa, to you. A very big shout out. And come on, no time or say how na time or so. Good evening, Pa. And Akwa Jasu ni your live so high live radio. America Bruchimum, your live so King's Jersey Radio and also America Bruchimum. Yes, now live when we got to FM Okukren to me into Blazer Tony Lonnie team not so pipe here. And you want NASPA Radio UK, you want for media so Belgium, any France. It's a good evening, Pa. But some pem this on baby or one day a good morning. Tess Yama, but some pemesiama also good morning. Any aquaba, any edema unim. And then there's pressure on Abine. I was saying, yeah, but Chema, Abine or the government are just Abine is barely 1 month in office. Yes, why President Mahama in 7th January. But lobby and the pressure for the government, that's will be a proposition. But you see, at the end, it doesn't work like that. No, be any better mania position. Makacha Mudada Mama say, Mumpo, offer only 60 ministers. So I don't know this lobby. A utu for the or muya party supporters. I mean, President Rollins, but say who bond dog. Now, more cost sense just because my candidate, parliamentary candidate, to wear your position. I mean, the NDC as a party must come out. Rafi, if you quit as general secretary of the party, you must condemn it. And it's not just condemn it. More friend IGP, not just because seriously, they are giving NDC party a bad image. Bad image. Now, no GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority, na party boys, say, acting director general, we've locked him out. What kind of what was like? What kind of uncivilized behavior is that? Anyway, any president, we have a president, commander-in-chief, president who knows Onimine Juma, the president who has gone through the system. I mean, now Munya president Onya Juma, more better man I be taking my president, dear Onfane Juma. So I like a wutu and a futu. Congratulations, and come about what I'm the current constituency executives. Because now my press conference to go condemn it. A good attitude no matter to condemn this thing. Now you better not condemn you not party full soldiers be a general form. No more did at them. I mean, who good party, NDC party in any massy. This is an NDC party that has come so far. So far. Now, President Chiche post no change ya na mo kontokwa. Ye ma ye chichira we ye mani nya adwuma. We asase and the enim say party bi aba power. Ya na beginning no mu nyina mo yes abachale. Baby amode ko no mu gu president animas and it's not nice. From national NDC executive, you must call the IGP to arrest all these people. And back to a NSA, a friend saying, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources called Betty, and then the family Kone, Abujina Po, just say, and I'll play you excerpts from that, and easy cry. But it begs the question, and some of my rascals as I don't call it to what say. NDC by an anu yang kofa koji Galamsey no more. NDC by 2 days yao. And kofa koshe kwa yemu Galamsey. Like why? I don't know by a person who go by any masses. Say just say NDC but onya nine entna so. And kofa kogu kwa yemu Galamsey for what reason? Why? Go abayin any masse. Wa banya ode naba. O si abayin ni nye adwuma nsomo. Na wa san kodina kwaye mu a wo ye Galamsey. Erastus as I don't call a picture of post here. Or say as of enra no pa. People were in the forest. And then yeah, this a party to say them go for offices here. Omuko eko pam penny for you. Primitive behavior. O party about power. And no chance ko tina kwaye mu. Neko Galamsey. And Erastus, now go share Erastus. I mean, kudos to Erastus. Said they be all now they are just award. And on your pictures, no, and posted it boldly. Say, this is what people are doing in the forest reserve. In the forest reserve. And the Minister of Natural Resources by or say it's not allowed to be able to forest reserve. Muse may acquire a EFS Galamsey. Now, or say mining companies are and this goes to sir. Obosi go feels as me and say am be ya nyina ye di ano atumbia ye kire ya dene e wo ho ya say under no circumstance should a year friend say a mining company be or say mining companies near say Ghana as you a political apparatus and the minister anagasa kind political apparatus no omo say Ghana mine because omo na yedi o mining show omo nsa omo be ye adwuma no omo because and now the amambo video nature from appointment committee vetting no and therefore
of the NDC manifesto. You say that you provide a predictable regulatory regime and build confidence for local and foreign investors. Our Minerals and Mining Act of 2006, Act 703, has been hailed as one of the best laws globally in terms of certainty and predictability for investors. And one of those certainties is that when you conduct exploration and you abide by all the mining laws, you are entitled to the grant of a mining license. That is section 39(2) of Act 703. Now that we are familiar with this issue of a company that exploited for lithium for over 10 years and eventually made commercial finds and was granted a mining lease in accordance with our law, the SWL-MPP administration went on further in negotiating for an enhanced terms outside the law. And I would want to state some of these. An increment in royalties from 5% to 10% to the benefit of Ghana. An increment in government's fee carried interest from 10% to 13% for the benefit of Ghana. And an additional interest to be taken by the Minerals Income Investment Fund. And mandatory provision for the company to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange, which it complied with. Altogether provided for a minimum of 30% Ghana participation in the exploration of lithium, making this provision as one of the greatest values.
Please, your question.
In terms of our mining license negotiations and grants. And now my question: despite all this, you opposed it. How are you going to ensure that investors that have invested in the exploration of mining and minerals in this country, their concessions will not be taken away from them, but they will be granted necessary leases and permits to mine in accordance with our law?
Maybe answer no, so because I let minister no designate answer the question, but very interesting. What just said the former minister Abu Jinapo. Or share a paper no, so I mean as a student all exams are all copy. I think he's very interested in the lithium, but it shows you how Ghana for baby so you're interested in issues. I wasn't very interested. You see, honorable no question now, mention no question no, but a very important question. Senka Obuasi go fields for any Obuasi boys no mutie omunim parliamentary proceedings near me apostle of parliament and get serious near follower and kasade na omukoye Obuasi no komunkoye. This is how and can see a pushy and penny for mom signing new mining contracts. This is how we should have pushed them to sign new mining contracts so that Ghana can get more interest. Instead of 5% per royalties now currently royalties is 5% per. Because areas bebre no omanfo na local no say omunya. But to be fair, Obuasi me adansini Obuasi party from hospital to schools. Mines ni one of Ukrainian kakojoto because I can hear politicians and one or just canone or jenny share or the cotton that were broached. So our job is to push our politicians to sign improved mining contract. Now the minister and also the minister answer because minister say mining companies are concerning a Ghana problem. Thierry, the minister answer where was copy. Minister designate to say mining companies like I say no Ghana problem. And no say assassin, no Ghana problem. A political apparatus. That's what the minister said. You're Amabua, Onyapala, or your experienced politician. This is what he said. Also, politicians now my question features said the Erastus as I don't cocaine. Almost feature and more money. These are the people who are killing Ghana. And your mining companies are casino. Because mining company be free abrochaba. From Newmont to Ashanti Gold to Huan, they sign gargantuan contracts. It goes through scrutiny and sign a parliament. Now, MP question, most of these contracts were signed in 1940 and 1960s. So who bond dog? These contracts, they were signed in 1940s and 1960s. Ashanti Gold, gold over 100 years. Away for China for buy some better company. Now they are ASEAN pro and abuphobia. It must be directed to the politicians. And conform my basis here. Ashanti Gold and say they send a ton minds in my mind. To Abrofrinya over 100 years here. So your politicians there to come. So let me take you to Minister and answer or the my very good answer.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I think the premise of the question, I am aware that this came to Parliament and it was referred to the committee. I don't recall that the committee came back with a report that was opposed.
And put their money in exploration and abide by all the rules, laws governing mining in Ghana, their leases will be granted for them.
Chairman, I was the former energy minister, and I was very aggressive in making sure that when investors express interest in exploring oil, and we negotiate, I follow through and make sure those are approved. And that's the record I have. You were in charge of government business. I think your responsibility was to have brought the agreement back from the committee. And so to say that what happened there, but I'm simply telling you that there was no a report that was debated and defeated on the floor of Parliament. But this is what I would say. When it comes to new minerals, Chairman, my strong view is that Ghana must really win in new negotiation for our new minerals, and that there must be a paradigm shift in some of these agreements to ensure that, yes, we've held some of these old minerals for a long time, but the new minerals, we must focus on value additions in our country and make sure that we can really get, Ghana can win bigger than we have before. That's my view on it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move on to my second question.
And to ODU minister now, chairman so they were appointment committee chairman they were pa. No cannot say. At the end of the year, I was signing contracts. I bet boy and crop for you see. So now I tell who is responsible for mining contracts. I say Parliament. I buying. They must sign contracts. I bet boy or man for. We look at them. I like this president. I'm team way or do a mobile. Osha. Yera amaboa ono kwani obi office o squad ni ma enye ono ko ono atofo but like ono ne obi a wanyini a free o squad ni ma or joining new squad, because if you look at President Mahama second coming way, any the kind of ministers are or you omono, these are younger people. One say that for no ministers and the Mahama first government ni no munyira they are all going to board obi any whatever a friend say as in terms of ministerial level no benyebi. Amabo ani obi a also I about 50 or 60. Onu ni obi a wabam. Atofo no ni are young people. Afi no omo ko 50 ni ade omo 50 ni omo young people. So this the level na Mahama dey ban is good. But I'm saying say the problem is say the menu abema Erastus as I don't call the video na ban. I was say obi aboama aban we succeed. You see, more so because or succeed Ghana, especially because of Galamsey. What the picture na Erastus dey ban. May you if you answer. This is answer. This is Erastus. I'm bringing back again. Mining. And according to Erastus report, these are NDC supporters. abra buy ne buy ya ND 1 month to cry no ma ko gu kwaye nim no mo ye mine ye 2 good mines ye 2 mines no na ye the way bu mine be ye president mama 9 j form kra ma ko gu kwaye nim ye mines. And these are the things a brass to say we must call it out. Na president mama to me nya any focus no ye na adwuma said they say na efata so be looking at that too. But again we also be looking at ye na be ma basintale ko in the office why ye now he said the dumb edgy boom or munyina kwakoshia no something that I said is not and you call it the right thing. Politics here basintale nka so ya brand to any experience you know. I just understood the youthful exuberance. But obia what our politics more experience in him say politics to me satisfy obia. In politics you can't satisfy every party person. You can't satisfy every voter. I want to say unim na oma also some crofo so mumra nipa ko share basintale office e bebro 200 sa nipa no say 100 Ghana kwa na odi mo obia so fro car times 200 people ya he enti also so almost say e bedu baabi na why you busy because why you obia na obenya brema no there's also a job for you to do. Say when you pay no mo dey so bo ba bebo and your friend wa and I will buy a no na call office you and he say so I am yama basintale say ono nkasa ya ade a as or set it trap ama ono ano but one kasa obetimi aboa ama wa ye what there so you don't need party for because you cannot satisfy everybody till that kingdom come. Do your best. What I say about swap boys in Nakoguo. Na crowd 100 Ghana momo. Na ochna wa 100 Ghana momo. Mukroya besa boarding bonnet. So you focus on issues a bit me abwa. Ama abino generally. I am successful. Abino generally, and so far that's why I'm calling out Omukra Makogu Kaima. Omuya Galamsey. This is not the way to go. This is not the way to go because President Mama by the from Mumani settle what abaimu and sana. But party for boys near the end, and this issue there, you encourage you mumra. No, we don't do governance. No matter how involving, opesa we obi subaya campaign no, the same campaign in co-position. And you can see how so many people online are even calling out Basintale say bra hold there to Obuansa. And penny for no money in Casa. And I know say going forward, no, oh yes, I didn't be because all these boys are from me say 100 Ghana crown out the mobile petrol on Tongu the moto mumrawa. For the next 4 years, you cannot continue to do that. 400 Ghana now the mobile free. I will say free baby. Now you cost baby. When you say getting in a so Ochna Nippon expects how many 100 Ochna was only 200. So any only experienced politician on yes, sir. Oh yes, sir, because then you cannot satisfy all party food. If not, Shema appointment, I don't know for your demonstration. They are not satisfied. Party people are not satisfied. But I do a campaign, no beyond the and yes, why your campaign necessarily you can be part of government because you see the skills, nimdia, and experience you hear our belmo, who your campaign will be. So what I say, I was saying, abotre. So that the government can succeed. I mean, it's early days yet. Am I by President maybe 1 month to cry? So we don't know what will happen. We must all help because see, Ghana taxes near the Ghana money and a Ghana money cost so any area. This is not partisanship because see, you're too baby any swear in new president party everything a good. It's a Ghana first. All hands are on deck for Ghana. And not just for party for usually might be one form and I had an advice with I'm MPP for form they need a free SHS to learn about governance any democracy but on mine be to baby on my agenda national development or mining cost or mining put you dear bet me Ghana ye or he funny a bit me sky the bay or mine that is what we need. Now the party for ya na amami MPD, ya amami candidate in BD, and we must move beyond that level. Ya prof in Okopo country, leadership professor, watch radio America ne, Ghana say prof school on credit, new school on
Academic City University.
Academic City University, I say on a dean or on ma or chiradia, also. leadership there. I don't know what church or home books are from the grassroots level all the way to the top. Samson a chairman for MPP war UK. Eba joining era Kisley Japan Edumata so ba joining eba Paul mama good evening akwaba.
Afia mejo so. I'm a chair with you for you know we are suffering nyina.
No mu nyina to jo so pa. Mami busa wa ba mahama new leadership selection or the urban team no. What do you see?
I think a very courageous selection. Research actually said 65% of a Jumabia no sebe year ejina recruitment. Omwa obe high omo team abe build no. Enti Mahama administration sebe year ejina ubia ya appointed no. How effective and efficient and ipanebetimi aye juma. Now over young guys and some quite experienced. There were some surprises though, but minim say a year. Very courageous picks. Onim say you're loyal to him, and then the policies are within the next 4 years, and because a 4-year journey. Now, obviously, or no more no legacy. Ghana for the Becano. And so far, no, so good. Now, near Hadrian, now come once a year. Cecilia, you were nipa 11, and you have 2 out of 60, no. Our Moshe Jumas in there. Obi ti say Haruna Idrisu for education say Ochina no be show mombo ministry ho nyina. Enti omo first day on the job ye ne. Afi na ye kwacho ba bia betena na take you round. We are Ochina kono no mbe hyase ehia different directors, any deputy directors, any PROs, any omo ka ho na omo ne omo edi nkomo. Na leadership say na tie sa wo ko ba bi foforo sa na as I say wutie omo kane. Now, because the answers are always from within. Near cost or problems, cost or now, all tier stakeholders are what Sao agents or ministry honor almost will be a problem. Now, tuning in a go, we are nothing, if what show wisdom. Or no matter, so go what from meeting or me and a crown of Wakasa. And to be heard, maybe no busan say, what are you thinking? Then I was ordering. One man of Crown so can be at your Sanya man now, Boa. It may be effective or baby for Frau. Because most grapher you mean I for fro, our baby are omocono. Now, 48 near point 2 almost say a cut 12. That means a region idiot, deputy ministers or now. I'm so one me too, my fear.
Regional level need the opinion.
Regional level, no deputy. Now the problem is that a Korean Paba Kwana Nipano Ahomaso on a swap. A bit may a problem. By him say a year JDM President John Mahama there or yeah the reshuffling. And he said 1 year, 2 years, and I said first year crown officer with Jumaya and Senia. Your best sound near the for about the Congress be a bench or more warming up or me a powerful substitutes. And he said, one to me and your 1 year Jumana. On be you know before Frasha Hall. You sure the past government over 123 to 126 ministers need 2 deputies for each department. They break what now Juma because the variable input more than the face input to ministry honor. And he's a minister now more delegated a Juma be say, oh, Makasa Koyese na Koya or call Kotana wife and opa no call. But if you're Maminka way and was a Ghana Hanobu 8 hours a Jumano, 30 minutes. A Juman or the 8 hours na koye. Obabo last no what kind newspapers na was signatures therefore be no coffee. Yam penny said him because ye near Coso ewo America say near Trump ye. And who he say ye fear ye because ye fear ye my auntie Mahama's success a Ghana ye success. I don't know Erasmus no can ye ye no to me say Mommy and Cambo no man ye because one son yes will be uncle Krumwa. But you Ghana ni bia wono to send a America no aha na beba e penifo sesebe o si achi nya o da ho na atafre
no ho na atafre
bia so nya na chi na oko enti essence say ye free hanti eno nti na some of us ye free America the comfort say ye ba nya be make impact because me pese me ba kokra na ma ba fi na fi na me be ka me stories na makoye wa bruchire. Last year, me threw a book on entrepreneurship. Me threw a book on grassroots democracy. CCA, watch at a me threw a book about wisdom and leadership. sin ebe yusu ye hia saa niam na because knowledge dia and like wa ha niam bebre wo ha abroche knowledge no ye ni wa ha enti leaders na wo ha no ni onim na oye no ni ononim e na oye obi e no obetimi aya ade beyond ni onim because we experience and knowledge and am ultimate perform good as a leader enti wa wo fi say o man enko yie no na wa broche no mumma ye nyina man ye nsom ko nsom ni nipa ye nsom nyanya o man ye because Ghana ha ye fi nya minim dem no ha no de ye fi ye mumma ye nyina meka mo nyanya o man ye no man ye yi a ye nyina enjoy. Okay. Now having said that, if you are na anyama ekoso na nyame nwanwa na NDC maaye no bibusa nkrofo bebre because grassroots me ni omodi nkomo ase we bi ka say prof ye wi ni pe me de me ko ram me ko bush na me
akoya Galamsey
question no yes
wow
me ko bush adentia wonim se see ya ye ni evidence bi e kire say eya NDC fo nkwa na wo bush ho because na MPP fo wo bush ho a NDC NDC ni ko ho ya mane nko ho bi because na ban ni ho
okay
so enti ono na ban aba no ye didi agya na mana for almost 8 years ni ye didi agya no edidi jansu ni mu na nenam ekomo ya enti se na ban aba ono so MPP fo no bigusu wo ho omutu ayem pam wo mti obeye den ono so be ko obi because adwuma na wo ho no enya adwuma bia na di school na ye adwuma bi wo ho a wan ko school out ni ye bi especially say bush adwuma no so enti ehu hia say the minister na ye vet na o kan say as I said one your laws ni bi wo ho LI 246 ya amend no and say reserve forest will be called because I said 2000 to 2003 na me wo radio station no na me morning show no na nkrofo bi chainsaw operators ekwotiwa forest ekutwa enti za nyama we nya na o ekutwa nnua no mo sa akotu illegal mining enti me ni papa bi e fe no ya Nana Gorgesburg eye akufo ado wofa na kofo time no ye council of state member for Eastern region your friend of Gorgesburg ye de no to governor Gorgesburg me ne no e na call ewuram ho eye tiwa forest ene ye ko ho esa ne enti akoso ache.
And you are suspecting so more na NDC nkwa
NDC for nkwa na wo NDC for no elusu elections no omom wo wuram omutu no mfiri ho okay ya kise o chehine ama say 1 month within 1 month no obi amfiri ho but eye too little too late all along for the past 8 years
okay
I don't know anka say Galamsey ni enough is enough no mfiri ho it is MPP for no bigusu wo ho na so omutu dia no na ban aba naturally ono so bekoso okoye bi but say nyina ye boa ye find lasting solution to this illegal mining because I say so western north for I am for no can and say I don't know my koko nyina no say Cote d'Ivoire twa yen a ye koko ayi because yes as nyina no ye twa e dey aye Galamsey enti mma ye nyina ye hwe kwa befa so a youth no ma hu say YEA youth development agency yasan ye ministry of youth and I am many agencies say for the youth because your population almost 65% are below 35 years. And this youth say your mom bibi anya antna asia obi be mom bibi ayawu.
But I don't see a problem not say politicizing Galamsey. The mommy show picture we na answer na mama chairman abem. This is what Erastus aside don't posted and so Uzumia, who call Erastus aside don't go page now here. Waka ho asem say as we speak, 3 groups sanctioned by element, sanctions by element in the new government are still inside the Tano Anya forest reserve, mining illegally and further degrading the forest. This impunity must not be allowed to fester. This picture was taken this morning as of NRA 7:24 a.m. And Erastus posted a day was say this morning into NRA nopa and all kinds of elements sanctioned by people within the government. It's sad I said okay, a woman saying one party there, but whether you're one party or 2 party, yes, say assassin. And the issue is said your friends are gonna say politics, I'm an ababesi and then no. But remember what was the problem? If I say chairman generally about Mahamatino, chairman, Send a prof can team where they chess on NDC for more MPP for number and so you have the men. There's one say NDC, they have the men. I'm saying more young men look than more MPP for.
You
Because
na mentia prof why effect say mama bari bari bi ya so so amesro no masonti mentia etiefo ne mo hwe e wo abefo ntintan kese no so nyina afia no kre say niana Ghana fo ehwehwe no eno na abam awo Yura Mahama na konwa wa magia odi ye nyina de mpaebo beta na chi evize Ghana se ni ya nyina dia na essence wa esema nyina na if you look at the dynamics in terms of the appointments no in terms of age no say why ade utumu say or the younger generation no awura mu yie pa MPP ya na problem a younger generation so yenya wo mu ye experience and say one ye careful so na say bia okofa ebi ebe mu wa
there be am say wo professor say a freezy ono so say we freezy
o sa na me no say me freezy
kasa ne baba freezy
we freezy ye nyina wo say we freezy ama pe dia ye
ababa okay ni bia network na say me da so jakrum ti you can imagine. Oh, that's what you more than so much.
Hey,
yeah. Now, maybe a 5G near
election, then no try 5G.
5G, no, maybe a year to my year pano. And Niano ne electricity wise and a nums rule. You are very quite me muti me for no watching me.
Oh, what in the 5G? 5G, it's losing.
If you are if you are count topic, can create and cut topic.
It makes saying. Because if you say the 5G,
okay, so let's see how the 5G works then. If you introduce something, it has to go through pilot and then it gets to a certain level before so expanding. So obviously I'm not technical person in that particular area, so I cannot talk too much about that technology side. The 5G former technician, no technology. Yeah, and ye say Yura Mama Niema or yen in appointment a bit makuya maina. And I think media me baby I mean many ajika cry Ushe ni appointees na or do mo chan or presidents na advisors and all those people now we are very experienced politicians are or we are matured no. Say omu tunufo na obeti ampa baby a bit me abuano pa ho na me feel say a bit me free ho aba because obekaya you cry by now your monitoring and evaluation minister na or if I say presidency. And I think if Yura Mahama say something in phone bisa ho na omutunofo na obefa because a juma na form no betimi aye you need to evaluate them and monitor them and see exactly how their performance is. And yes one careful problem betimi apa because younger generation with the young exuberance one careful obo say now even though you think say you want to please Ghanaians say you're playing into their gallery to make them happy but one careful bit more political suicide for you and the
experienced people surrounding the whole jubilee
I know it is very essential because you see if say asante kasem kran you say only penny adue what you say it is a twofold so now one tier o kwantiade it is a tunufo no obeti ampa na obetimi amanani akosa mpanimfo no hu yi ampa na sebio nipa no se e wono stages enye omo no tu no fo keke na chese da bia no omo ne ben no closely. On say people who are closer and then who are advising. So those who are closer, no, if they don't block the fence between the advisors, no, now me biemu ama the bia access to the president to so me na far then I think that can help them. Because in terms of those who are going to be on the field in the if you are menu in higher is out jail console imamia meet me. But wo from baby I always is here okay FM. Say o continue different console anim or even whichever station at here. All you need, if it's even newer, all you will need is just a little training for you to get on with it. And then that's it, because it's your field. But appointment of this nature, no, normally, because of say young far technical people no ne call field no my emma na de bia ne kokoye omo ye adwuma emma ye ba power and I reward them. And that is where there be problems now ya war Ghana no because these areas are where the problem is. And I think I will salute President Mahama for guiding himself with such a talent and knowledge and experience people with skills. The only thing I can say, obetimi edi.
Okay. I think about somebody Adama President Mama is in order. And I like your honesty and decency in even analyzing the issue the way I know because and more come from experience because then how can I go to say because I got to say I Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation. And I know where
yeah, at
the back of your head, though, I know intention how they can say President Akufo-Addo and tear some of those people.
Oh, if you are yes, I'm fine.
Evidence, mama evidence to once. Me, how many years I could say Afro plane several times. I call a year Kumasi. Tell me, I call a year Kumasi. I know Papa no confide in me some of the things that on Tiasi into me per se. You kind of be but he had confided in me about things that the advice I know the amount of my predecessor letting another went here. And I know so wouldn't be. And coming from there, that's why you are saying say Muhammad choose the best team, but they are missing like say obey tie or more. Because having the best team listening to them is another
that missile defense shield and also around president is also very important. Okay, I say even Yura Mahama time I know what Krano. Yura Speaker of Parliament ever complaining maybe say not onya even access to say obey Mikrampo Akohuno Jubilee House. And these are the areas we need to look at critically because sometimes one you careful the younger generation now be they can become a stumbling blocker, even advisors crano they cannot have access to. So
so like I'm saying like a good advice no say Mahama for the best team because I know you gender minister onim erosa some of the things that there were fracas between Vicky Hammer Adwa Apo. So going with all this, I know say she will never repeat some the experience or mature in politics.
Yes, so, of course, it's very important.
As against Nanado, they are. We all know how Anagabi didn't have an official position with Jubilee, but he was more than powerful in Jubilee. And some of those things, like you are saying, no, Inisa Pajamama, yet those mistakes in him.
Of course, we'll learn. You see, if you are me personally, my politics is not really too much of say because of this thinking how we MPP ninti kabima MPP. That is not how we're supposed to build the country. We need to build this country and fix it, as Prof said. Say, these stories in Aeba. It is all crown or money to me. Definitely, you don't even need government to do anything. Government is there to create an enable environment for people to say, whether it's their businesses, whatever they are doing, is successful. That is all the government system is supposed to be doing. But it's just unfortunate that so serious. And the Akakoye always like the 2 million mana. May there be a mechanism even Crancunyana yede 2 million maumuna or mutitimuneso sondodo and momu lazy. As a sondodo. because you can see a whole CEO and a Nyama all year delivery. A whole ministry crowd cannot even do it, but you go and see this person's office. It's so simple, so very simple. The environment, even in our ministries, in terms of the seating arrangements and how so wide, big, as a Obi or no, I mean, all these are Nyama Edienya. Because when people are too comfortable in on their seats, you don't expect them to deliver for you. You need was the reason why offices near the idea no so simple, because you have to have access to certain things easy, you know, and yet the and I think that we need to also strive to try as much as we can to get rid of all these things, because it's too much. And they say, and nipa dodoa o makogu parliament no na yewura mahama ade ba ko awaye na memani agye ne say, and the parliament is gradually becoming fake people in the parliament, those who doesn't even qualify to be in parliament.
How?
And the reason I'm saying that, say, because of say your constitution, say some part of percentage B has to be taken from parliament for them to become ministers and deputy ministers. In the country and nipa bebre aditri obi okra onya nipa krati obetwa dia call parliament no. Na say it is too ambitious. Say when I get there, chances of me to become a minister or a deputy minister is higher. And right now, many of them that were really craving to be ministers in Yewura Mahama, they are very disappointed because to go to parliament, because you see, when you are in parliament now, I catch young Kwan Awoje and money at the idea. I crowd no so called parliament because me who nipa be am call offices are parliamentarians from NDC. Even 1,000 top through at the go. Yes. 1,000 Ghana cedis for fuel. It is this any quasi and your money corner too much. That will give us the quality that we need to be in parliament, because parliament is literally the nation's heart.
Okay.
And if we joke with it, a problem but I think that if you continue in some gradually say if you're a Muhammad to succeed with the 60 ministers now all can once no now the near all year you're very successful, it will cut down people who are always paying money to go to primaries and go to parliament.
And the point that you are raising, Chairman, say and go for parliament because of the post, and yet because of the position,
and yet the human are in the parliament and the reason for that, no. The reason, sometimes Ghana for no, you're a better no correct. And sometimes can say now be grateful when you're comfortable. But that is the reality. It is what it is.
Okay. But Prof, my problem, Prof, and Chairman, I was all commenting on a Galamsey Abieno. But I said,
advice we chairman the man and do na MPP but one farmer
advice we bring now governance style is also completely different from every individual.
In leadership, were certain stereotype fallacies be a poor leaders be a successful. And Yamansia, the Edicano a unrealistic optimism. Obuwa, I don't know, or your sort to say, meet me, I didn't so not own to me yet. And to mean have them in our Ghana, Obuwa position our copeno, and yadi obey me yet. But Ghana was go, or for by a man into Obuwa cry a money positioner. Instead of Becca, we had the mean to me, or begge. Interview no to papa, so veteran, so we pass it through. Na fe ya mani pakra ba san krofo no omomwa oman no ne toso mienu ya egocentrism fallacies ahomaso ni dwe etime be binum se onya leadership position a ye hu saade ni bi wana nadu emu akonwa anada bia daka mu a eso nipa eso daka mu na mfaso bia ni so ahemfo omo se omo sorry na or Kasache ministers, your greater minister, Kachan says Sorena called the war commanding Crawford. You will send and say Mahama call voter region. Now, as some more kind say, I am for no sorrow as a Montanasi. That is humility or some Montanasi, or Montanasi, we know, or say, Mema bind dear, or be to me criticize, and now I say, be how I want to make Kasa, I idea a good thing. Niaka leader officer onim bibia. So, obu wa ebi abosua ade akwachiri pa nti ene so ni bibia nti obi atu no fu a wonfa eno so emwa ema leader no enkoso obi so wo ha na ose ye wotumi ye nim nkrofo bi wo mo kasa tumi so wo na o kasa tumi no tumi ni wo politician no nsem e wo Ghana for nsem power belongs to we the people and obody ma nti se wo ba na be to trasem wo Ghana for so a on be show where the power lies. The other one, invulnerable fallacies. Obu owa office me boss be protecting me. Timit me and me. Ye nim se grofo bebre owa hwesisi ada pass me. Me kan ho asem bebre. So ho. Ni ekosi ye no se wo leader biba scandal biba anasa asem biba na wa ma transparency ma investigation no ka say oh me nim se e be vindicate wa. Na wo nim say he's got my back no be protecting me. A strengthen a binomo ema omoye bone ni aka se nkrofo omo ni morals mu se ye krom ha no obi wo ha wa na dwen se ese me si dan sia ese me toka asese enti ye nim se asset declaration kra na scam ya asset declaration scam
because asset declaration ye declare the question box
ma tu na ye se oba afia mature over 10 books me jiska from Amazon I will Barnes and Noble ni other way ba obi wo ha only source of income bia wakobo bosia waton asase bi ne ne ka bi na wabuni MP enti oba he has to find a way to get that thing back enti oba na controller the auditor general ka cho say me wo cars 5 me wo dan 4 me won asase say ya wan na kohwe e make sure say sa ne mani nyina wo ho na o free officer kwa ye hu say ampa oba na so we say na ampa na okono wo sa enti nkrofo bi wo ka say wo asase 10 and so no assassin woni bi or kono wo 10 a se sa na o kan
exactly
nti sa ne ma no ene se ehwedi because ya wo mra wo kana mra wo ha na nya dwuma emra no e wo ho no mo yemfa mra nya dwuma because ya boka ayemra ba mra no yemfa nya dwuma mo yemfa eno
enti Bob, what would be your advice to President Mahama because akase asset declaration mo fa nya dwuma but said okay asset declaration is scam. I want you to repeat that. I think that would be the
scam
for 2025.
Scam. President Mahama, our the chief of staff, say, on make sure so be a mano appointment biano, a legal obligation, say, will be declare assets. And to say a more appointment here for a baby, say, oh, fee, oh, as I say, oh, way, who documents I'll be show. That is the job of the chief of staff. Now, Omonia sa documents in India to work. But as I say, you verify. So you verify making sure say any panel cano e no kre ehun hia pa na say na chama cano
how do we do that Prof because law existing law no say the TSC here no it doesn't give auditor general the power to verify you exactly say okay oba now say oh class 10 now when you say me ba me wi class 10 until me try to say me class 10 the auditor general
no class 10 so okono class 10 so more chrono because
constitutional review commission ya take committee Prof what is your recommendation to President Mahama because what is a scam we have to correct the scam
me send me recommendation am Professor Prempe or any colleague and in the team no me send me recommendation indemnity clause the president me fa no court no I say you free ho na etoso mienu ense se obi aye parliamentarian or science minister because a defeated separation of powers any checks and balances executive should be separated from the legislature Sena say person ye prime minister system wo UK ayenye ye person ye presidential system of US ayenye nya mienu na yakabo ma ye confusion no obi or ye member of parliament should not be a minister all the 60 ministers should be outside parliament so that parliament can draw them on onye na juma year the parliament calls them and then they answer questions because they say no obia or ye MP is looking to the president for appointment until they don't listen to the speaker they are listening to the president and the checks and balances been a bit me and I'm also proposing say it's a set terms of parliament, you know, at least 3 times, got 3 times, so could be. See, what term of presidency, as I say,
building experience.
We can experience, you know, now a human will be through an
America for a Democrat, they have people.
I know.
They were in Congress for years.
Yeah, sister, no be brother. So now many was say chairman Sanyadwin. He was talking about experience. He said, "Grophobia move free, but will be free one hour by." This one person will be about then you are not giving other people the chance. Okay. In fact, the fear researchers show say every current generation is more smarter than the previous generation. And to move my I want to say 1 year because most cultures feel say age is synonymous to wisdom. But I'm only say onya opportunity no. Meno ka say obu ha ya appointing no, but obu ha ya appointing no. And so no need Godfather be and I only mo be opportunity appointing but onya sa opportunity na. We have to give those people the chance.
Okay. But Paul, me person answer about a Cobra. I think Cobra say open asset declaration must be established in Ghana. Do you agree? Yanyan open public declaration of assets. Why declare what assets are? Well, it must be accessible to the public.
Yanim sa Ghana ha no culturally no nipa bebre do omo niamasie ni business and ni dan osi ni because of ehu ewom na abayifo sabio abayifo anye na yintini enya ye culture senkrofo e bibra omode obi wakura business ene dia aso no do obi dia to so enti say woka say openly and declare assets are mene ne ya adwen partially but I think said there will be a pushback from because senkrofo bibra wa the property no person obi behu acquire a culture but I think say obey a politician no why to say open page which is a ghost people should see through you as I say we be our no ededwa enti Yanwi and also say open declaration of assets beboa yenya na Ghana focus ye pa because we a leader and yenya open abeye and your man for no pe and intina leadership piano senkrofo who say oh pursue agenda different from near omoto abama say be ya omo you free hono enti obia ya your minister piano obia ya to abama piano ye careful because you are there to champion the agenda of the people not your own agenda. America for culture be a me pepper. Oh, said Trump, who flew her president be a flew her or throw letter. I did over table no Emma president Obama. Now when Joe Biden throw say Trump, table ya better as you nipa be life it depend on you. And you know, make sure say be a no America for. And Trump cry yes na bien no or say very inspiring to him. So sa spirit in America or Ghana say Mama ye nyina ya mmoa apan ya woso nenye yie because ekwan ye yie we can number of Cape Coast a free kaswa ekosi Winneba terrible road terrible it is hwekumase kwan so na make say 2.5 million and a car ye dey our electricity ye prepaid do 2.5 billion a car ye dey what yaka me control electricity prepaid 300 Ghana cedis. If you are answering me board number no token number no kuso no ya tell me 22 into akwa 278 22 ya was taxes meanwhile you say they got 2.5 billion I better here the same 2.5 billion no Morocco e dia ye train system and connect all regions but ye the car electricity on the same amount and you know sa 4 years journey there mesre obia fa ne hu nshem na ya kwan say train system be connect all 16 regions be betimi aye be boya man na ade papa wa brochi ankofo dwane kono ye nya bi wo ha ne ho beton ya mama ye nyina ye nso ye nya ne mo ya
chairman why already somebody support president mama no succeed.
Oh, of course, but we will also hold him accountable to the promises or the Maya. Say, and only a day one, yeah, support the man, no, because or the bush and a buy. And the made the era out of forcing us. Say, what can say, 11 now, Mukase, Omba within 120 days, no, no, definitely is going to happen. That's a bold step, say, almost fulfilling promises. Era Haruna Jusu, Onoswa can amamati, say, CCA, Mino Kase, and Kolana Mukase, Omoko University affairs, year, no, level 100, Omo anokra cry in the tertiary, but I'm saying no cry are you bukata kakra or wanted to see only the institution university in Kwa. But I'll say awofo na etua ni nyina o guarantee say obia esika omoye omo budget no pe obia ansa be kan sika back eno ye be make sure say obia ansa be kan sika back. These are how yen ye be boa omo de abu man what you say because ya anya ne saa obedia omo jeje mu na ose oman because oman ma edi yawo a eno so help oman no what is make
okay. But everyone can because chairman NDC for minority here, Musa, no free SHS, no more raising concerns about cost, no more raising about delivering. Colana be and now one more time. Now you are saying somewhere at the same thing to NDC.
Yeah, see a buy the free senior high school baba. Yan can say, you didn't call it and baba. What you say? And a young can say, ya bar, ya bema akodahin and a hin, ya buy, yeah, see the free SHS baba. So we developed a concept that will suit free SHS, ya diaba. We delivered. And that is exactly how I
perfect. What the
well,
minority
but it was
to
literally delivered. What they tell you, there's completely difference between the free SHS concept and then maybe e-levy. If you I will abolish its statement. Okay, that is emphatic. I will make sure that every single child that is going to university for the first year, no, say own to school fees, about Miami to Yamano. And I know you're specific. And no, there's no any conditions attached to it. That is where make us say yabe buano niya help no. But I am say Prof can simbi in parliament side na mean said and in nyadwini papa. If you cap it, I think that becomes a bit of discriminatory. The reason why I'm saying that is and you mentioned experience. Experience is also the best teacher. Edentina United Kingdom obiatimatra parliament for be 42 years. America you the same structure ni nyina depending on how effective that particular parliamentarian is in parliament. And so ya done no that concept has been turned around. Every constituency is looking up to the parliamentarian to come and develop the place. And the but say if a parliamentarian have a great experience and is delivering to the betterment of the nation, why do we cap it? Say
concept of democracy and the bedrock of it is separation of powers. Was say arm of government be added and this all the question.
Baby, I mean, I say, some ministerial positions, and it's our your friends, they develop, common fund, and money at the idea. All these things has to be channeled through the MMDCs for them to use it to build the place. Let the parliamentarians have their freedom to do the work so that people will not even bother them. That is not their job.
Okay.
Working in the constituency in terms of building it. And yeah, on my job, they will only look at complaints and suggestions that people will bring to their attention that maybe he will then go and fight for it so that it will be delivered to the MMDCs now. No much media no. And yan kasa na yama that problem no abaya yan bed and parliamentarians and me cry no mo yam say and yet senya me Kenya obia for so parliament obeko akonya ministerial position ni ade e die ntine say wotimi ma ho kwan say enkofo mebutu fie kwan no every single day obe sorry so opia bonti na nipa 200 go fie. Is this reasonable? It doesn't really even make sense.
But the thing is also that our MPC of the common fund, MP stand a fight here near the bar because
fighting near the bar.
Useless.
Okay, so what is the purpose of the common fund? That is how we have to also define it.
Local areas.
Is it not for the local development?
Yeah, the common fund and the miankasa many problems or honda. There any say German government now we use so some communities. Sikano German ban or German in 90%. And I said government to 5%, not community to 5%, but community in this car. And say yenti common fund Sikano 5%. And government there no 10% so that the German government be use so ama community no. Some of the DCs can say no. because no German for nebe only 10%.
Now you see,
so we have a very fundamental cyclical problem.
So if you own baby, if you are free bano, it's system no. We need to define how we want our system to work because it's so confusing to the people. I pity the MPs because look, if you have people say the Bianco for to Kwana, they are away. Didn't vetting time no, and this time maybe an answer, but yeah, time vetting time no. Because of saying you're too close now, there were all this kind of perception out there. Say even almost veto Ukraine the entire. Why is it that Obiankov bet in my young me because you're scrutinizing the year now, you fail you and empire fail you. Why is this this kind of experiences? Baby. Now Obiankov is a total point you have to go through. Why is it that?
Chairman, I was shocked, sir.
How many times, NDC? You can count it.
I was shocked. So we say how Wakumsi passing the vetting because aquaculture no crown no knew what it was.
And that is exactly my point, sir.
How Wakumsi?
The MMA catch was here and they say these are the areas struggle. The reason why we don't have value for money, no. Na se trepa so because the moment the president appoints anybody to go to become a minister, automatically MPC ni bia woman so te ho twen say yen pass for sika be hie botom e wa tire na sorry ko baby. That this is a fact. We yen to say yen de kase fra bruchire okay. You bet me aka. What you say? And so these are
okay. We are not afraid of anything.
Of course, and nipa no a sebe ye wo man ni mu no ye bompa ye se ye ndi ye ho abro. What you say? Na say o MP na say nipa no the bia and all the people in the constituency are almost at his doorstep or her doorstep. Again I was expecting. As I saw bokro no kakra fam no timi tete ne ho free ona nkofo on hare no so ni so ne ho do no. Eti ya create avenues for say a bit me loot or mine. That is exactly what is happening to our country. And I believe that
leaders near one, they are a reflection of the people, your character. Well,
of course, yes, you are right.
The research said the expectations of the people and the corrupt leaders, The expectation of one is say, as I said, why minister and why MP, I saw workers.
But I don't agree with you entirely because the reason I'm sad I want to say, okay, so I also Obama the
if we Rollins in them time, I gave an example. Nyamadon Konum time when they were ministers as Minister of Health. Obekono 4 a.m. Na benches a goofy. We say Mikosia carpenter me here tools. We say Mikosia a treble me here sikase. We say Mikobroche me here ticket. And then I asked him, say, how do you take care of this? And the people expect to say, as I said, yeah, for real, sorry, as Saudi say, but the people expectation of these guys and the corrupt one, the expectation of America and Europe and Tisa.
Okay, and that is the point I wanted to make.
Okay. The expectations of America and Europe in Chile, as I said, we could yes come be and sana wakoye, but Chama wouldn't say vetting cry, so we didn't crofy him for being uncrofford do a china say omoba other support of vetting.
Is it really even necessary? This one.
Or my day, your country said, now I will be quite modin. Na okoye na ye ka che omo say oma bre committee na bre ntrom kono sam na the next day no sa ankrofo no ebedidi the next day omo sam ba omo say you see that's the expectation say do achi dia and you say otomadu ane mamidi.
Okay, yen from this angle
the same expectation the warrior
on landed down
the same expectation no and na emma a connect with culture to your well-being. So enti se wo ho na se wo ko ohene hwa yes ohene be ka che say yem fansa pan ema hemfie enti no ye wo culture of gift giving ye chade Now, so a culture of gift demanding, say public servant be our way, Joanna say demand this car, then corruption comes in.
Okay, very well. Chairman, what to the
Yeah.
point, Nancy?
Okay.
This is something that our NDC and MPP
Yeah, we are trying to address the problems of our country, and I think this particular program now, NDC, is these are the things we need to be talking about. We don't need to always go into see Akota Uyechi and Akota Uyechi. It doesn't have any resource to be at the moment. Now, Doko can be the reason why so me partially make us say we have deliberately made the people poor. Deliberately made the people poor. Because instead of us working ourselves off to make sure, say, you better deliver, creating more jobs, professional jobs for people to be able to cater for themselves, ba. Now because of say you need check and balance ni it create near lutu na ya share na ye wia na sika ni nyina ba bedi ye ho enti adwuma esese ka yetimi di sika ni create wo even the constituency emma bunu ne maba wa ni adwuma ye na wasom dwo no wan kasa wa save wo de agu ho na omo ho kire omo. And so that is what here culture na prof used to say cultural demand. We have abused it because nipa nkoso the bia ye pese nipa mra ne nsoma no. What did they tell say? Instead of obi bed lift obi up. Now you be pagya na ma ne wakọ nanim na obenya prof onim onyam ibi. Eno oba pese de bia otinifi onhoro ne car ne ma no. That is your culture.
Between NDC and MPP, I'm on a Ghana democracy so bad 30 plus years. How do we fix this thing? Because
that is the reason why I say. That is the reason why I mean personally. I say the drive of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, any Yoruba Baumia, any almost sense of direction, policy direction as to where they wanted to take Ghana. Now, Yantimi enya sa entwaswono ama Ghana for gradually and a long term because you can't fix a nation overnight. It's a systematic developmental plans and ideas and projects. As I say, ultimately a streamline, especially tackling your institutions.
8 years, to be fair to NDC, to be fair to yourself, 8 years under President Akufo-Addo, some direction now can I say, yeah, said that deliberately made the people poor. No one said that may also.
No, I'm not talking about say Uti, me no Masama Mekano. I'm talking about policy direction. I'm not talking about
policy doesn't work alone, Prof. In a third world country like Africa, no, Tita Ghana, no, policy in Kwanante, so any buying and so nante.
Oh, Asama Meka, if you want the one Mamanu and see, and Kamia come out here. One Mamanu and see.
My shit that too basic on so, Chairman, 8 years of MPP, sir, deliberately intending to enrich the people so that for new Mama
exactly the point. Masamana Mekan say, unfortunately, did you hear me say unfortunately? We could not say a bit me across the line because suni a buying and ama yentimian crosso, but Senkaya dia yetimi enya nipa wadaji enya nipa do e make sure say ampa ye be ma nipa sombo ama ye ampa na ye ntimi ntwitwi mfa nipa so ye be fa ye telephone no ne ade a and Ghana phone doesn't need anything. They don't demand too much. Ghana for pe ahobrase Ghana for pe obi a utumu say uti asem ye ka asem kire wa utie ema yen. That is all they need. They don't. Ghanaians are not very stubborn people. Yeah. Was that kind of culture. The reason why Ghana I couldn't miss here than the sanctity and identity free feel. The obuo any odoni nipa unya esayemu. So what I say. Enti sana Ghana and mine is sutie. And the reason why I may make us and say. So just our direction me personally dear. I don't know what MPPs, NDCs, this administration have in store really for us. But if you look at the record of how we were building our institutions, and institutions are the ones that literally give the country the benefit. Because if your institutions are not working it means you have nothing. You can build all the bridges, you can build all the buildings, you can do everything. But when your institution are not really something that is going to check the people, to put them on their toes, to make sure that the delivery now on nipa chrono, so a cocoa value for money, no, bet me the abampa. Then obviously, Sika a typical example. When we went to the ECGR, a prof was during our time. When we brought before we brought the digitalization of the space, Ghana was ECG was getting revenue of 400 million Ghana cedis a month. When we digitalized the space, it jumped up to 1.2 billion a month. Look at the loss every year on year. It means accumulate here, money. And so if you look at what we were building now, in a long term, no, it was going to be self-sustainable a country. Because you see, what I say, the last point I mean, Mickey, say, uko government institutions, non public sector now. Well, you see, MPP ampa, it's son Yamanokrano. A cotia am yet to abet yam because Omo bribes in Nan, YCC said, Yamo Monjiji, Emrefi and Antimira Jumano. But then, when you all these things cry in Yama power, ye cotia, now I stop on, now I am more betis, now I and for woman, Panama, what do you, the end results on the bed? It is Yama Papa crow, ye crown, and no my to abet yao. And now one Casan was added to it, it makes it a disaster. And that is what we saw. And I think that going forward, Mimi Bompire say, Yera Mahama should also look at it from that point of angle and deliver for Ghanaians to say because say MDC na wa bam no betra so no betima ya adwuma na mpa na MPP ya beba betuo ma yenso yemfa policy direction eye papa ebema ebeto obia so ma ebe biti omo de no conversation we should have nya ye bompa ya tena fie say omo faili ni emra. We don't have to do that.
I agree with you.
Prof obia send ya baby is and nana do ya already free senior high school by now somebody like Prof I was on TV3 doing evil propaganda. You see, I just saw that message. It's interesting the way, the way some people write about something. Many
propaganda. We Prof Munya
Obia wa follow me bia ni se me ya obia me do me mind. Me obia ka cha me say Prof we leader, we politician. Me it's all about it's all about money be ye. Some people never money you and this no money you are me dey any say o man no ayeye because niam me kwabrochira me hu no me pebi wo me krom eno pe ne hia me na me ne chama ya adwen about deliberately say ya man krofo aye poor ya create dependency system there be just krofo depending on each other. I have a lot of whites on mobile university here ya no more collaboration now omoka say police for salary, teacher for salary. Metia menoka say metro GS for payroll salary. Teacher ni ebigia less than 2,000 Ghana a month. But if we have Kumas Accra go Kumasi say offer flight a 2,000 Ghana cedis. It means the whole Bosumi Akatua and Obetimelia for one flight. Ako Kumasi aba. And Tiakatua moment in Yaman for living wages. Because in Grofobedroa, how they survive Ghana Hano, because it's a person person and Yasam Ketua.
Prof, also there's a problem there. You know why? Hona America say that is the problem now. You want teacher for no ankasana, omuye administrators now, omuye jumano ewohono. The value for money that we are talking about now, essentially, revenue generation. I'm not using school, but I'm talking about even our public service. Look at the money I can do to Omka. But you can't if we can build our systems.
Chairman, when you should just give the person KPI or leave it up to later.
So, Chairman,
the person what they are worth.
Some of us.
KPI. It works in the private sector.
Yes, but that's why is it not working in a public sector?
Chairman.
Because the institution never monitor the Nampano. Yet Yentimi building ye, Emma Yentimi regular check. Say a teacher Nico Juma. Look, even in the Abluchina, I want to UK. No, when you are using your mouse working on your computer, there are systems that we have also created. Even Uja mouse not to say
the politics, but what buyer that's not so 8 years. They had every authority to implement.
No, you don't. No. We don't build this overnight. This is a system. I'm talking about.
Chairman, 8 years and you're overnight.
No. Your politics. Say your politics.
No, Chairman, no. For you and your politics. 8 years in office.
Now that as some Americans out here in America, say we need systems. Building systems, and Prof will bear me witness, and you yourself as well. Chairman, building systems in place are a bet to me at checking Sanima. You need to get right now. You were talking about even the 4G. You were talking about 4G.
With these 8 years, why buy our company? What to me, ECG digitization, me saving energy. Why couldn't your government? We did the same 8 years. Implement the same system.
We have done it on many institutions. You go to TVLA right now. No, you cannot. You cannot also say because no. What said that? What said that? Prof.
CEO for MPP time, not for ECG, no. Papa no eka institutions the car or day. I'm at home, not on percent obey secretary say you have to pay this. What did they do to him? He had to go. So
well, they make that's nothing to do with that.
I say why? Don't just punch me and clench me like
that.
Oh,
also Obama DM Kakarandina, me am some other punch.
Yeah, I can say your system non so conform you good, no we efficient, you know. And Professor Asari was saying it, because I was saying it, said those who are really good, you know, the way a system the chairman, so no, and maybe bring to me and call my name because you talked about the expectations of about the basic about people have different needs, but we need what I'm trying to say is I don't like dependency system because America, 65% of the population don't know the name of the vice president. Why? Because they don't care about the government. And you're buying the Okona Juma, Oye Bibia, you will state roads, you will state police, you will state pass, and on federal system. And you know, I on depending on a buying for sustenance. But yeah, system they say a buying and the Bibia my your happiness is quite depending on a buyer also. So because Bibia ya buying and none of the person you move from that system. Say the government should not determine your happiness because private sector no boom now you Juma now sika. Say who took now first class, your business people and your government workers. So, and you know, one can say we Juma in the private sector, no, we should promote say thrive. We need that to be intentional.
This is exactly what is happening in NDC says here. Party supported here. Over here, no take you over institutions now. They all want satisfaction. Even the happiness depend on Omaba.
You said oh, government won't even satisfy will be and people want to buy and Yakopamon Crofo. I will a ye baby momo quarantino and yan this income. And people want to yes, scientists will do opposition. Now come out the national office and the party are bar. Sunday binumu ye. But now we not going as I say, I didn't write Juma. Making sure say tax. And of course, assets. When you say Crawford, to me, the Jatu office, you know, Sanaba free swap. She market, Argentina, they be a tour baby, a market. Those things should be investigated. There were intelligence people around. So we should be investigating that because I am recurring. Yatua baby from toilets to CEOs to boards, Obia Priso Bekomubi. But in your Obia Robena public Jumaye. So we should be intentional to make sure that private sector no obi oye jumano above money tax incentive. Me I believe in one thing. Say obema obi ade free no. Say you pay minimum no obi aya jumanya obenya sika no watimi de atua ne fees ne bibia say first year in investing no 345 million Ghana cedis na say atua ma omo. So me kra na no na me ka say ye tu abama mahama no Inauguration was on the 7th. 28th, which is 3 weeks time, and a first year for university. Well, on one can find a budget in Koye, but because it was a promise, he has to find a way to do it. So as he can ebia media to more for electricity and bibisa. And the
law on party supporters, so say the law must be enforced. One enforce the law. No, NDC is in power.
The police in a human said law enforcement. That is the job of the police.
Party for prof. Why is it that the hierarchy of NDC? They are called to it's shameful.
And Amika said, "Enya dey ye new, but ube hono sanya Galamsey ani ye can say, you say a political apparatus na eko. Menya ya me ya that kind of journalism ne say mention names. So if we say political apparatus be no mo shechira, now we evidence show it, name and shame them. So, but yet you make it because Mahama or Obia, what can you say, or ye be na nya, monka. Until say Kufuor Rabaya now can be an OBS Rono. Nipa bebre, including Kofi Annan Center, a Professor Eni. I said now he has the freedom to say what he wants to say. What was it about Nanadua?
You will see, so one can say he has the freedom. You will see the party for me. So
what was it? What was it?
But small boys not do at them.
If you're not can say be I am a depa or say what made MPP lose, was the way they governed. Governance. So the way MPP governed, Ghana for complaining, so Yamamu Senior High School, Yamamu Senior High School, or Bekabi as Yamamu Senior High School, also okay. And to be your mind says, San and Beka, I am being told, some perform what Jubilee House grab be your mind, someone to Abama MPP. Those are the seat of the president.
In the case of Galamsey, they are Erasmus story, they are pictures showing the elements within a byway.
You should mention the elements and their names.
But beyond the name mentioning, government taking any steps, say, first and foremost, Erasmus identify baby a two Galamsey. Wabo Crony, we provided pictures. I'm not taking any efforts since Erasmus posted. Has that been done? That's not
that I cannot sit here and say that has been done. But I think the process should be initiated as a police investigating. Not those perpetrators should be brought to book. It's that simple because ultimate farm ranch every mineral resource be our mine and manager say is vested in the government. And to ultimate go to by me patch say obian to me sudia. Say a NDC for and because MPP for no mutu that no more on free ho. And the NDC
MPP time no. Now they say me Rasto see because element in MPP government. Yes. So if they say politicians behind it. Yeah, so now the same journalists, award-winning journalists say
I know.
The government so
we don't need to consult an oracle. To know, say, and your politicians they behind this Galamsey.
Okay.
Because excavators no kwala no muntimin to ebunwura ho. So, and there might be wa na mena ni ada way nyina no minimum crofo mo MPP mu a mo yempanimfu a no mo mo kwala on the sites. It's a fact. Enti me catch will say omuno gusu wo ho nti so no na ban ba na otifi na crofo we gusu tuni yempamo mo de a the natural instinct say meko hobi na me so makotu bi. Enti no say ye pamo omudi a eni pamo abi before ni nyina ni pamo obi anfiri ho ni mambra nya adwuma because the minister being vetted today no e ka say say decentralize the way illegal mining no ye wo illegal mining living association wo ho ye wo association ni groups the Ghana Bar Association ye wo Ghana Teachers Association no ye wo association o musankofo nyina ho those stakeholders should be engaged ye decentralize the way ye betimi monitor wo say na kan na vigilante groups our communities and this obi ba krom ho no ase bi betu Galamsey na ase bisa krom for youth ho na bechi ni pakora ka say ha de ye ma no masa ahemfu bia de wa wonim say yantu Galamsey wonu krom awona asase so ahemfu no MC is ni DC is no enti sankrofo we nyina na enya vigilant no mo police no na nkrofo mo yesa no yenyu mo free ho e be boy na
mama member on this issue because no minister no call vetting or say there is no way allow Obiamo Galamsey or Kwayim. But they're not making profit MPP time. The same Erasmus, the other journalists, they say about prophobi that we didn't really name the names as a later on names like Buntu Menomini again came when their mining licenses, we got hold of their mining license and their certificate, prospecting license near the. But I'm saying, say, what's to be the attitude of government? At least the amount, say, location in the you show pictures, 3 sites, yeah. But now, shouldn't we see some action?
Yeah, you see, me when it comes to Galamsey issues, it's something I'm so much concerned about. Okay, Makan was from even 2017. I think it's already started time on another banning and meboa. So say about in the first year, none happening and meboa. Okay, before say Saudi and Babano, I was talking on one of radio stations most of the time. UK. And my position has remained the same even when we were on a campaign trail. Me ko Kumasi at that time, no na media stations in Kasa, na NDC for the Galamsey area propaganda against us at that particular time. I stood on my grounds and spoke the same way Makasa Bepimone, team. Me say, and thank God, say, 2 leaders na on Bezomo Banina, they had a plan, say, they will restructure how as a tree gold. Yeah, small scale mining. Any how I bit me a tuna by ye emfaham biama. Okay. So at the moment, at the end say, what do you do before you can get that your solution now or one? You need to have some temporary measures in place. Udibet me abwa na what me plan na o can. So what I have said always till now, they say, me if you see a woman, I'm in time, we are 57 years. If you are me, who's a Ghana call water? Ghana and Konda, and Tokwasi say, you need to go crown a dear boni, ye bida. A soldier for a woman wim. Ye tria omuka epinum edi omo o I call soldier. I retire, ama omuna nanum abaye kennels. Eda suum. A soldier for Jumane di. Soldier for Jumane say, when there is a state of emergency, you deploy them for them to rescue the country. What I have said is that, before say, and this is advice because me the my government you know kai ya ntimi antie anye. Me hwe say yera mama betia.
Yes, I went to me antie, one went to you.
Who dey tie? Say me hwe, me child ye ne pepe. Eti me ma the
same.
So I want my friend on doing
How dey tie me the channel. So bet me aya, e ono na ni monyama. I'm being honest. What I say? Me the man so what me aya no betia. Ebema onu ankasa ni munyam. Okay? Now, teachers, military. You for military you for professionals ni nyina bi wo mu. Carpenters, doctors, one meboa prof meboa.
Yeah.
So mo units ni bebre e bi free.
48 engineers to crowd omo no
bi wo mu. So they are really professional people, engineers nyina e wo mu. Okay? Yes. So what I am saying now is that let us declare our forests on a state of emergency. Those prone areas now, to Galamsey. You don't need to say, oh, cover baby. Let us deploy our army to go in there, build cubicles in the forest, around the whole place in our kitchen, toilet, everything is there. They are going to live there. Let them live there because we don't want them to be corrupt as well. Se tamale for na beba besia ko na 2 weeks near relieve we no ko mu kru no mo yire no mo so akotena fi kakra na we nu aba when a soldier for eti ane asase ne so a koi because soldiers military
before tribe even under NDC
no na me de no me sro if you ye fa no ntonchen anya me de no and my concept now. What I am saying is say
asking a question I'm better me busa say.
Okay.
In the past, we've had the involvement of the military. One of the incidents is the what led to Major Mahama Wuno. In Galamsey fight, we have brought in the military, but I say a solution.
So they didn't go overhaul.
They did not. Should this one be? That's my question.
Okay, they didn't go down the line now me can. The me can say ye per solution which is a temporary solution ye boy ho na ya mekwan ya mankofo atu nya ye ka se mo bi antu ye boy ho na ya ma ya pe plan ye papa ampa ye betimi decentralizing ye na obia anya kwan na wa follow that protocol to mine. So when we don't have such a plan in place, what do? At the end say, so let's have temporary measure. At least 3 months. The crown say, "Yera Mahama and the team no ever call rigorous. Motimia come up with a plan now. How to implement it. Okay, let us stop the whole activities of the Galamsey. No, every Galamsey site be a pro biano. Let us deploy our soldiers as they are going to war. They are going to live there. Not that is not what I'm talking about. They should literally build cubicles that are conducive enough for them to have their comfort. Obetimi ade yampa na obe sorry no na aduane obetimi anoa ne kuka ne ade nyina bibia yan fan kon nuamu nyina na omontena ho. They live there.
That plan has been done before.
It wasn't that which I'm talking about. And you know it. Because it was some point to crown police and the soldiers were patrolling together. It was say kwa it me nkofo no wa show that we na 20 form car enko. It in nkofo no the other side and he did drones be checking niema. But this time round no. Let me say my camera by me kai be seen there. Nanu ye crime kind on computer. Let's say so 1% at the end yet me to ase ampa. Say nyesa omo ankasa tie nie. Say nyesa omo ankasa both whether MPP aban whether NDC aban and even on manumfo na omo ye sikafo no a na omo esika penti. Oma de say yentimi nti ani nhwade na mpa se ye behwe ampa de a ye betimi aye a soldier for ye the most disciplined people you can come across nkoye corrupt they will because commander now what deploy no na mpa or this aduma ye de aduma no you are handing over completely to them, no interference from any of order from above bia near sro ho if the aduma na ho ye no or ye protected forest no na even baby amna ne deda no kra wo ma create no a soldier for no should be able to fill this amna na deda ho nyina. They should go there and fill them wo ma djuma no
Chama me who say all the vim na can, but for your information even soldiers have been compromised.
Well, it depends. It depends because the reason I'm saying that those who went there no
Chairman Tobo na me ma information and the NDC operation Vanguard soldiers were involved. They were stationed there. They were compromised. And
also they were involved.
Soldiers were taken there. They were compromised. Baby, no soldiers no were guarding Galamsey people who were ready to pay them.
I don't know. So follow me. Masema make and so follow me here. What I was saying is okay. So what I said
has been done before.
What I said, Nankasa Bakone said, we should be rotated. This time round, they are going to leave
his presidency on the ground still.
Well, if you will, Prof, Mami Bisa question. If you will catch me say, with all your educational background, are you telling me that we cannot fight this fight?
That is not.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Chairman, you bet me I'm fighting this fight easily. Mami show the entire why. Menim penimfo, police form penimfo, ne military penimfo biakasa. Se adena ekoso no. Se politicians ni free actually pe ne solve ni easy. Se politicians no e free actually ne solve ni easy because soldier for ko ekotena ho kosi tent. No mo da ho no mo chi nipa 10. Ne do mo nyina ko police station because mran say do ko police station. Ya do ko police station na Ghana law say within 2 days I said do ko court. So mran no. Ya de ne kwa politicians abesa fachire akoyi omo boys. Who na the next day no obesa ko bush ho.
Well, any not just say
America for achi Mexico for some illegal immigrants. Omo tunnel omo from America. And it's all the no qua the following week of a fatan and maba, Obiasu de Jose Garcia, the same passport. And Sanya deny in his hair. As I said, politicians know if you actually. So I like what the journalists know, you know. Now, or the pictures about, or the evidence about, it is alleged, sir, political agoraphobia apparently be normal chassis. That's what he's saying. And America said, give that information to the police and the military and let them work on it. Because this new government.
But how in your own statement they can work on it because in your own statement you say yeah the and they say on this information you come up police and we assess the same thing. So we are going on.
Chairman, I am building a cogent argument. My argument is say because the same microphone almost just and I watch you on my end stopping. In the first place, in say you pay Juma Massa boys in a year. We need to find an alternative job. Ghana for some can. So we be yeah. The chant to come my mema Kenya and say the youth are very tolerant to our politicians. Can you see what Kenya? Your youth no omotia semase. No ya and say obeti me unim say obi koye the whole day constructioner mason. Your man 180 Ghana cedis. A whole day from an upper 7 to 5. And so what Jenny at Ghana for are tolerant. Kakro benyano or so. But mumiam pejuma a juma papa a momunye. Ye no jumani ya uncle Tina Bushi ho uncle she room way be woo ho. Obu ho 2 weeks no my. A be woo ho near personal. Esan say a common breno ni huyenti no alcohol. Mumaya mom be before front ye. And a be before front is a bema juma alternative job to do. But it is shameful, say politician, maybe I question say you for echi. Na odwa mako say, munko she room na mko ya juma mame. Omo ba he kra no de my boys see. I hate no de my boys into no. Shame be unto these politicians, sir. Omo pushing palankala where you
are. Say politicians be a chira. But the point amumi enu nyina mo ka no mu nyina mo accept from President Mahama to President Akufo-Addo say ade but the politicization. Because this is the Galamsey. NDC more the politics. You regularize you obia. MPP say yeah, they almost community mining. Now they are just how do you remove the politicians from
association of small miners, small scale miners. Almost see a Akufo-Addo G fund the BC was say or the Galamsey no or the fight it. Mahama ba you fund no crab baby afa.
Okay, you see, Prof.
And on count. Sikana, you see, the 2 was say, small scale miners in here, you know. Mahama by and says Sikana Association, no Casse, that means the president paid just lip service. Who you send another than the presidency was when to me and fighting Galamsey or the president?
He's still in
what I'm trying to say is that the problem lingers on.
Prof, if NDC cannot find the fund,
I mean the point here. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's be fair.
No problem.
I am just relaying information.
Where is the fund?
So me patch say association omoka say they need the fund. It's just me the formula media I build me case say anyama ye ka say ye be ye no ade ne ha ye nyina Mifa Galamsey ya dia yenso ya adani to say milo no.
Yet when you make allegations say the fund cannot be found. So
but you are
quoting them. Have they been able to find out
small scale miners? Almost where is the fund for fighting Galamsey?
Yeah, bro, what buying a Tiakonia? So should what buying not be giving us answers as to where the fund is?
So you are not getting argument in the say the Ghana National Association of Teachers.
No, I mean names are Prof Krawoye NDC. And I mean no
candidate
and I mean no Konoboko say.
There will be NDC now.
And I say now Kasasa now I said na o mame Kasabi. Because me I thought say me the Obua ma say o Prof Nintino. O Prof Nintino. O check say any mamu mame kura mi sua de ni bi. Enti se sa na tie dia na mame so memram kakrai. Na me man no.
I will never catch you but I'm
a proud I deal with reasoning. Yame Pachedi said, Nia air cosono, besides Galamsey na ye can I amount for the diagrosano, led. Wouldn't some nana will come once no. my educating crofobis amana yet to Galamsey site no soil experts say a bit take it 300 years and some assassins in your claim back.
Yeah, but our question to you,
the point, if you
are more all the power to fix the system that MPP failed to fix. What is NDC government doing to fix it? Because more to be fair, Prof, more politicizing. They must say, more
Abano by oni busumiti eda na waje agum minister nankasa obehweso no afa de yevete no so minister nankasa o de nsem nyina ba enne ene yevete no
meti atama po mo ti se party support tankasa kasa mo ka kire o se mo ba
asa mo premo ho 60 ministers na 11 pe ene ya so no,
this is an situation emergency situation.
I understand
campaign. No, prof mama so mimram bi kakra mama mimram kakra
now you host why
my throw because what kasa che mimram ba kokra what you say don't land that if you are on landed that waka wiemu achedodo asem yemi na obisa me
opposition dey
okani die nyina wie afia okani die nyina wie na wo ba
opposition motimi atena 8 years dey
afia ponkoni pentem
with this good governance of John Mahama Shasia no the next person of Urban Bessa be 8 years easily until say MPP bet yes say they need to govern well.
Odisi anamaba.
This is 2032.
Okay. Nti ya no de yemfa no to. Ti se ne omo no tu bae. Se ne o kwan na omo no fa so bae no. Yen so ye be fa sa kwan no aso ne de aba. Now my point ana me make sesia no. You see se sesia ma hu se we NDC need with the greatest of respect, and I mean what I'm saying. Genuinely, enye sebia me ye propaganda bi ana me pushy bibi in the interest of the country because my ban wo kra no me kai. Genuinely, ampa ye nti ye tuye. Asama me no kan tieni ye tuye fra konwa no so. And mudi ye campaign papa sa mo ba sa de no mo be so ano ama na jai. 2020 me the better because on there mo share that kujina opera mo ba mo be bie ma mo moye this year election last year election yeah man said that anti mo kujina ba bi cancer too much but mo the solution and mo be ka kire mo manifesto mo say mo be ya mo betimi aye but ya me kan sisi ya ne say me sra wo ben wa ban sisi e but modern na senior opposition sitie no o kasa o mo beti ma o mo enkope busia kra no a Tizenia okay na me beboa because that was where me myself no me can years ago no me making provision for that. Say, that Galamsey prone areas no. You should identify those who are doing it now more from no. Omo no kwalana omo ye no. They don't need anything much. Enti say abosia kra na yempe ne yemfa nko your friend is saying municipal assembly district assembly no. They should go and sign their names. Obian ko troni di ho. Now, young farmer a salary monthly, a kind of something. They suspending for a short period of time. If it's quarter, 4 years, another 3 years, another 6 months. Sorry, me see years, 3 months, 6 months. So if that is how far we can go, to say a bit to me a massad, ya kind of say that kind of influence of the politicians now. Say a Paumani Yampa, we are just temporary solution. A baboy yina, Obia, we are Galamsey, we two small scale mine you are de yono. Yenya sell us so what's our problem in ya. Ya be Obian Concoyne Juma. So there's no need for say a Bequaco say, yes, I interfere. It is abandoned to me strategizing on this particular part. Now on for command, chain of command, on find share the military now casa head and then sa. Because he is the commander-in-chief. So the top one rank before or no, on financial or no inside. Now no one deploy the quality people that he knows that they cannot compromise the safety of the health and safety of the country. So they will then do that and protect the place until say solution ebeba. omo find a solution to feed those people who are on the field. Now omo ntimi making sure say ya protect ampa. Na a soldier for no could do no so ampa. We should also give their engineers and those people who are environmental people, no almost some brainstorm no mutimi and that period of time no be hono. Reclaim some of the lands. Says here we are failing near day. Nyanti ubonsi abeba no krano. That's our problem na yehuni almost solved. No, me can't say baba bemu. Even though beba me say beba back say baba ye juma no amomo canon. Na sa problems ni amna ya tutu agu ankrofo kwa tutom wuwi na atwam na ajai because soldier for no can do this job because only what we can do is to just increase them and give them some sort of a forest allowance bi na esika nkosoro kakra na omutimi fa no kre enye sa adwuma no fama. I think this is a very good advice for you.
What would the difference between omo matina bruchire and omo ye typical ayi? We are trying to open the right door with the right key. Benefits will be anywhere or chief was sent back order. And it was somehow okay, no, ya fat ne boagan and yina, yate. Yabeso, not be a befast why you been making sure, say, the menace of Galamsey be free ho. Na yankwala ya be womne bi aso ni ho na bi na ni wona nsu aye nom no e beku yan ntino ya be ho adwuma why
na just a back with you na say both NDC
efia me can be quick as an one.
More tears, yes, ban on Galamsey, the NAE, obey to me ban. Regularize it. Okay.
You be regularize it. Near decentralize no. Near making sure says omo ya. Because there are many places who bet omo organizer. Aban bet me amon say had them bet me to na modi. Enti aban
na mu we cross almost I reclaim na ka ho omochi. That's all.
Okay. You
if you are now show you so one will say yetimi enya agreement bi ebeye me desa aban ne betiampa na obeye na yemi prof besa betina show you so one day na ye betimi akasa ede ye nyina yensa to ye kokuma ka say aban ya yade ye danase.
Okay. Yeah, bon pa to do and that minister no
why yeah ni sanu aba be kan ya ho na fe ya yo man ye tete
me ba mo ba mama be minister dia me ba.
And then the minister no converting, he was very emphatic on it. And unim obi to say amabo unim say he's a very principled person or some experience or some say energy is not something that he doesn't understand. Natural resources are there. This is a deep issue. And aside from the Western region, a main mining region. So and all when they pushed him to the wall, he said say pass here by Galamsey basa or kwaye mu de no. And that is why he pushed the blame on omo sensuo ne kwaye ne and change for no proper mining companies. Say AGA, no more to me they all work with him because rules to power demand those big multinationals and yet rules to. But let me play just a quick one. I'm
excited about new initiatives that will help us to heal the wounds of our country. Our country is bleeding. Our forest, that is really at the heart and soul of our survivor, has been completely devastated, damaged. And don't take my words for it. This is what the NDC intends to do. We are bringing 3 great initiatives. The Blue Water Initiative, which seeks to heal and harness the environment by turning areas degraded by illegal mining into hubs of economic and ecological recovery. That's what we are going to do. We are also going to do Tree for Life initiative. Reforestation will be intensified. We are not only going to focus reforestation only in the forest, we are also going to encourage afforestation across the country. Chairman, you know, we are going to really push for another policy of Restore Ghana to deal with the issue of Galamsey impacted lands and water bodies through a comprehensive land and water-based rehabilitation. These are things we are going to do to really address all the damage and heal the wounds. In the meantime, as we are doing that, we are going to make sure LI 2462 is no more, so that we can stop any further mining in forest reserve, and that's exactly what we will do.
Thank you very much. Any follow-up?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I keep insisting on these policy commitments because they are absolutely important. People go to the polls, cast their votes based on these commitments, these policy commitments. And of course, I agree with the chairman that I cannot extract an answer I prefer from him. He is entitled to answer in a manner that he so wishes. But I think it's absolutely important. The issue of mining in forest reserves has become a topical issue in Ghana. The government of President Akufo-Addo, in which I was privileged to serve as Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, put in place a plethora of measures to cordon off and protect the forest estate of our country. And therefore, just as the government implemented a two-pronged approach of afforestation, reforestation, and protection of our forests, this commitment that was made by President Mahama, this commitment that was made by President Mahama, His Excellency President Mahama, it's a commitment which I believe the Ghanaian people would like to know from the potential prospective Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who will have the mandate of protecting our forests. The president himself, honorable nominee, and you didn't make the commitment. The president himself made the commitment, categorical commitment, that all forms of mining in forest reserves will be banned. So, for example, you have Newmont Golden Rate Limited.
Is that your question? Please, a follow-up question.
Foundation
but the foundation should not be a thesis.
No, I understand, Chairman. Just a foundation, please. Mr. Chairman, please. These are very important matters for the Ghanaian people. It's important that we delve into them. For example, Mr. Chairman, Newmont Golden Ridge Limited has been mining in the Ajenjua Bepu Forest Reserve since 2010, Mr. Nominee. Anglo Gold Ashanti Eduoprim has been mining in the Nguyen Forest Reserve for years. Golden Star Wasa Limited has been mining in the Subri River Forest Reserve for ages. Ghana Bauxite has been mining in the Afua Hill Forest Reserve since 1940. Ghana Manganese has been mining in the Bonza River and Nguyen Forest Reserve since 1916. A lot of mining is taking place in our forest reserves, and the contribution of these companies to our national economy is known to all of us. Will the promised ban of all forms of forest, of mining in forest reserves be effected? And if so, when?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman.
Well, the question is asked and answered. But I will give the floor to the nominee to repeat his answer.
Chairman, I think I answered the question. But let me say that these very reputable international companies who have been mining the forest reserve are not the reason why our forest is bleeding today. The reason our forest has been degraded and destroyed is because we allowed political apparatchiks to take over our forest and destroy it.
This is the simple answer, Minister Nediaman. See, we allow political apparatchiks to take over our forest and destroy it. And yet, my big mining companies, it's not AGA, it's not Newmont or C. It is the politics.
You see, the problem, Ankasano, when we're intellectual now, what is here, and Crawford will be some question now, parliament nominees here, they are nuisance. Somebody like a failure marking, questions be brave.
I disagree, Prof.
I'm telling you, sir, there's a reason why. I know, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why questions be why. Voltaire said, judge a person by the quality of their questions, not the quality of the answers. Sometimes, questions in the bro, I tell you, a chair Nankasa say, oh, this is now man ask you questions. You were yourself a minister of lands. One question is, what did you do? And then now we are a company now see they have been mining there for years. What be your minister? What did you do? Now you are pushing on this guy.
No, but what he was saying,
The company is now Abu Jinapo body. They were mining before he became minister.
Yes.
Yeah, but
If
you
they
see,
know
the
it's not
caveat
Abu
there,
Jinapo,
we need to pay attention to the statement that he made, which
I
he
am
says
somebody who pays
President
attention to
Mahama
every
has
detail
made
of
a statement.
everything that
Now
I do
listen,
and I say.
please, Prof. What Abu Jinapo is saying is that President Mahama has categorically said that he will ban those who are mining in our forest reserve. And
Yes.
that, is he going to stick with it? Because what he said, no, a campaign gimmick, propaganda, what said that you no, what I mean about
blanket, because those new money were already there.
yeah, but that's exactly my point. But what you see, he wanted a clear answer from him. Said
it's clear.
No. What
was clear?
No, clear answer no. Who question that dojo? The one near Bujina Paul can say. The Bujina Paul can say. Who did you? Oh no, no. If you hear sometimes, you must be kakra. Mami media because as who disrupt me kakra. The woman say
because the question was clear. The question
was very clear. Edimamenya re-emphasize on that. Say, if you look at what Abu Jinapo is saying now, he is actually using President Mahama's statement when he was campaigning, which means that he knew he cannot ban those people that you're talking about, like the Newmont and all those people. No? But he made a blank statement, say he will ban all the people who are mining in our forest reserve as a propaganda. And what he is saying, he's throwing it back to him. Say
it will only be propaganda to be on him context.
Yes.
Yeah, but how many people know the context? How many people out there? No, how many people out there? Sabio electricity, understand what you're talking about.
Google and find
no, if you don't let us, I don't quite the mesro. How many people because or banning mining in our forest reserve no obi a on tias here now what dear bring and so no say oba banning Galamsey ni nyina etubo say obi adwene edebekwa akoto abama no. So what he is trying to prompt him for him to understand is that
Obi has the right to ask further questions. You can't blame the president.
Let me conclude.
Well, make a statement. Anyway, I know because you know why? What they are propaganda, we're getting away with it. But Abu Jinapo is also bringing it back to our attention that
the minister's answer, the minister's designated answer was clear and very simple. Also, Mahama, a year commitment categorically. Now, what would we say? In fact, president commitment, why you know, and your minister designated and president commitment, no person why. The president is still his boss. He will consult the president. There will be cabinet discussions about some of
these
things.
The only answer, I don't have any problem with it. But what I am also trying to bring to our attention for our viewers to also be aware of is that Abu Jinapo was not also wrong. Abu Jinapo has asked a relevant question. That the president, when he was campaigning, said something which he knows that he cannot do that.
I think Abu Jinapo is wrong. I think the only thing Prof is saying that Abu Jinapo was the past minister.
No, Abu Jinapo question, you know, Abu Jinapo question was based on.
I'm just doing clarification for you. Prof and Abu Jinapo was wrong in his question.
Yes.
All that he was making is a general comment about heckling, no, a preamble, no, to the question here. Which
I saw don't Kakraman community. Now, how is that straight away?
But Chairman to once, I know put their politics. I mean, I'm making reference to himself. When America, Honoma, preamble, and their changes.
Yeah, of course.
But the point Obia making is say Abu Jinapo was the past. Me, my bet now fire Abu Jinapo that said, they account now make it a ministry. Yes. This is a major policy.
Account I'll make you. Account will make you ministry. No. Say me, I'm representing my party on your show now.
It's not bigger than the answer. It's not bigger than the answer. Chairman Tobo.
Because
On your Bearman tell me, he should come and clear himself.
Now, Bujina Passa. But what it is, maybe person the tension between. No, a very serious issue. If you announce it, a very serious issue.
Chairman, Mr. Tobo, Chairman, they say opposition are more coin some of these things count. My young would say, I'm near account and church and name one for because chairman, you are not the sector minister. Sector minister, and can the proper point to make you answer before I'll lay out the account. Maybe this is how much we have done in the forest sector.
It has already been done in the your friend is saying, we know how do we call it? The transitional team, you know. Everything will be handed over.
Ordinary people do not send a kind transitional committee report.
Yeah, but the point I'm making the point I'm making a very simple question. If you are, I'm being very honest. I'm Masama American say there is a distinction between the two. Abujinapo did not say what supervise say money our forest reserve. And now work as Sudiano. It is a woka say, Adentina no Prof. Kase, Adentina no one stop here. How is he going to stop that? How is Abujinapo going to stop Newmont mining? Etino, the Yura Mahama Kai, no, a idea or no, what you mean, Kadia, what the campaign, or found Wodi Oko, but he knew very well, say, people that are mining in our forest reserve is a contract between government and the private sector that is actually working in there. Eti so ko yusu ano e de betene nkofo adwene free money be look like say Galamsey ya eti be bani onu Ghana. What is Ghana for na wodi aba be dia ko.
Mensia MP no echireche mo say sa no montene Ashanti go na almost started mining from 1940s. And in 1960s.
Yeah, but so that is exactly my point.
It's not in connection with those mining companies. No.
Issue is right because Onono try say or differentiate the forest reserve plus the Galamsey with the Galamsey because Galamsey asem and na dangerous. E dey am on mine omubu afu aban. So if we could penny now your campaign now could now say about banning all the mining activities in all the
I tell my way no cracker, or do you know cracker?
A chairman Casa on a chairman Trinity on Casabobin Casavidia. As we are the Manus in Yame Pachani said. The minister designating citing laws. HSS Amran ye be amended. Na amana ye clear to be a say for reserve area you can't go there. Say yam ranwa near amendia because amendment is very important in any modern day society. Ya amend the laws to make sure say EPA any mineral commission you are part of this process. So because the environmental impact on the share I like the blue idea says turning into blue. You making sure say your sustenance is being taken care of. I think it said we're in your politics.
But it looks like you are just reinventing what MPP started because tree for life, This is what MPP was doing. The green project and MPP going.
You can't touch water bodies. You can't touch trees. And then you can also not touch animals. Just a hunting season, deer and this is something which is good a bit me sustaining. Some people be na say yeah, NDC twas what. Now me can win back when
say twas
well, I've never done a program like this. Will be Kasa now. Oh, hell, can man. Because we are open the platform to speak. Now, me can say, or no questions now.
It is always what is oh, Casadia, if you am. Is that what by me, Casadia? Me say, who's opens all Casa, even present an Ancasa crumble. Just answer the question, and no, no.
Wait, and your politics. near here and say, your water bodies near be protected. And that forest reserve will be alcohol. Was cited Mrai or I said, yeah, Juma. Question now, Bujina Pobusa and say, President, President, His Excellency Mahama, John Dramani Mahama, I'm making commitment. No, can what I'm saying. Wakase, Yabaya Wajumania amend the laws on my constitution, ya making sure say, BBI a kama, lay a forest reserve near protected. Yan
commitment, and commitment.
Commitment is a president like I saw obey, and a minister designated so as you should say, Ampa Yabaye. Is that not commitment?
If you are Ojani to the man,
is that not commitment? President the Kufuadoka said, or the president Tesiso, was he able to solve it? No. He couldn't solve it.
It's
Mahama. So the ending.
And the problem you have to say all forest reserve no. It was a little misleading because and capture all the existing mining companies that they are doing
exactly my point.
That is not the issue. We will look at all the forest reserve now you're encroaching on. We will look at issues one by one. Now say yen where you make when you say or change essay 1 month or be free reserve at you and or chimasa in the wall. But Ohini Etimiama order so will be free hall. So the question is for 8 years and people power. Why didn't he say so?
Yeah, but the social contract is between the citizens and the president. And we started working on those Atiwa forests, making sure it will be enclosed. So even chainsaw operators were encroaching on that. And this is a president now a commitment. It's a commitment. We will work on the commitment and make sure, sir. What you said.
If you answer the Biamaka, say,
if the president can deliver, because say just 1 month to pay. You better some to make deliver and I'm to mean deliver. It looks like more copy MPP for them. You don't want to give them credit because that 3 for life restore then.
Blueprint.
There's no blueprint. Even free senior high school, any blueprint to be just the cost. Money.
They documented the prof and they documented the prof.
Oh,
the document is available. In Parliament, the document is available.
How? We'll take time to talk about this later.
No, the document is available. What do you mean?
The document, you know. Where the money was coming from, a blueprint of where the money was coming from and how we were spending it. It wasn't there.
It's available, prof. And can you call Parliament and I'm okay.
So if you are here, Miss Wampa,
the blueprint, the total cost of free senior high school, how where the money was coming from and where we spent it, you know, we don't have the specific figures now.
The transition committee needs specific figures now. Specific committee
specific figures no make
sure the figures are all available. Came to Parliament.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that next time. You will see specific figures for a while.
But prof, person be say more copy blue water no need 3 for life here. You are copying from MPP.
Chairman, it's not even about copying. Elon Musk will tell you, say, all your new cars and Tesla cars, you don't have to show be how to drive. What you mean show be say, send your fork and spoon, send your use to ADDD, because that has been done already. You just have to go to the edge of technology and make it better. And you're afraid to be best practices, even in academia.
It's build on the MPP for
exactly. If you put on the book, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
the whole world,
project here building on it.
In the whole world, Obi who's the best practices because of baby, you use it.
Yeah, but you also attribute more academics. You have to give people reference, give them credit for posting them.
That is
it is not it's only fair.
So I am saying, sir, a good policy, the green a year planted trees, you know. But your problem, my question on the table, no, was Galamsey. I used to say a forest reserve. And I say the way the tangent MPP went, you know, and to me, solve a problem, no. But young style, no, we solve the problem.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah, Mompire say if you are obetimia, Yenina says, Honey, a penal. Eti nyame ne yebeda na se prof right matna promise say
Hallelujah.
emra ba busumi sia de na sa ne mani nyina tumi atwam na is a thing of the past na ye ni age ne aboy nsem me meba betena ha na mabom nsem ama homo enso me ye because Ghana yie na ye nyina ye especially nyame me de amamu ye advice mutia ampa na mudi adwuma mumu na yebebo mo abaso ye mebo MPP abaso but even though yebeka say MPP UK chairman and a man advice
for Ghana Ghana because it's all for the common good of Ghana. Why?
Of course we have to build Ghana. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean that boy because at the end of the day Ghana wins. Say Ghana beko na enim ade. But Galamsey at the end because MPP majority of the reasons why MPP lost the election no apart from my hand time no more musu no more ban was also about Galamsey. If Galamsey we'll be monitoring NDC more anya there. You be style be.
Yeah, if you are nobody we put omo abeha ye be bo omo ni aka kai omo ye be ka kai
omo we will question we will continue. I know there no honeymoon period for Galamsey because Galamsey they major issue
many prof so dey say ya dan ntafo nti anytime bia ye be nya akonya be ba no ye be make sure say ye be justice to Galamsey an improvement baby omo free baby omo duro o ya ni san so be bo o
Yes. Oh yeah. That's true. We are very tolerant. Obia nkasa no man because we'll get the credit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm prof Enokopoganchi, lecturer child, the Academic City University, or a dean, was I an NDC candidate for I think Kofodia, and a chairman, a Japan, or do matter, so or a tafen of a key, or a MPP chairman, or UK. DBI friend or Bachama Edasi baby, Yakubon Show. So, yeah, prof. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Lai, good evening.
Fine evening. Nam pese mi chia chairman. Yeah, chairman Dumata. Chairman so when edukrom so.
So
boss.
Oh, yeah, me papa.
Oh yes. Yeah, Bobo.
Me pese me throw in the background, but wa corner nimu papa. So good to see you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, boss.
Yes,
sir. He's always on point. If you're not person me KBB, I work for ICE couple of months, years. Yeah, but more US. Yeah, more US. I was a detention officer. Yes, detention officer. Yes, I was a detention officer.
I know we have to send him a number because Wednesday, that's what we are discussing.
Yes. So, let me, Mr. Du, my boss want me number. Edmata want me number.
But I was sending what I say. So so don't say actual private chat be
okay, me okay. Okay, chat okay, hold on.
Why?
Okay, Mami Fanoma.
Wednesday, that is what we'll be discussing with all the immigration lawyers because Ghana foreign Africa they are panicking. So we want to explain the issues to them so that they will be calm. Why?
Yes, media tuso, media mount.
Very well. Why?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye. No. So person me can be America. I just want to go back and say a lot. So me kasa kakra me want to say unim say ukrata sem enya for now member America. No. Oh yeah, to be honest with you, men try. Yeah, because one say Galamsey, most of them are to raise money and travel overseas. That's their main mind. What you say, but ukrata semu nyame because one where uba should be basement. Warehouse. You cannot explore the dream of United States of America. Didn't America say, "Uni krata now do be krata ye juma." Sikakure wo se unyane imbo. Nti no e kamin kwa wo ye juma Ghana. Na se obetimi a raise that 15,000 Ghana cedis. E dey ama your friend say obi connection man. And these days no mo fetch ro. and all the information, some Ghanaians don't trust them. They know. Because me kaita mana me war detention facility me and me jai juman because I couldn't handle it. Because time I did deport nipa how much I wada ubon kromo ni abefro ni a deport ni echi osuswa enya dia ukofi se on se uni papers a oye juma ni etua ka ye friend tabletop ye mount tabletop aketua na ebia na wo de sie wo pass ni mu ni I mean, when you are arrested now, there's nothing you can do. So I was see a bomb the rule pa. And sometimes the main feel because we stay here so in our airport. Now say sa bogus ya ba fie ni mu ni yet me chere obi adwuma wo ye. Etimi 24 header. You can never even welcome that person. Oh yeah, to be honest. But adwuma ye wo Ghana and if you say adwuma ni but when you come here it's different ball game. So media kakra pesemika. So Wednesday they will talk much about it.
I'll call you, but I'm not when they're concerned. What I'll call you because Wednesday, that is all I'm discussing on Wednesday.
The Jumano, I don't know. In someone did name 5 hours now. So me start Juma. Me sorry by 2:30 a.m. Until by 4. Juma my office was telling. Virginia.
Before 4.
Yes.
US time, Eastern 2 o'clock. Why?
No, nothing I'm sorry. No. Ube frame me pa.
So to go 2 a.m.
Right. If you had your frame here, I can.
Yes. 2 o'clock. You have started program area. Into right. Interview now, son. Why?
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, Pa. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chama, my boss.
Like you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. But Ofajari, good evening.
Good evening, Sir. You're saying
Adam also.
Boko, very vital information. Partner, lie the Bako, very important. I hope that.
Because the way I'm for panic and when you're gonna go and Nigerians. Any idea? So Wednesday I decided that this is something we'll discuss so that you bet me I'm will be able the correct information. So I've gathered 3 immigration lawyers just to discuss that issue.
Yes. That's very important because
I was feeling so panicked because
yeah. Beside that, me cry na foot work a cry bi na me de ma o me wo fie na say obia ye eager to come to this place. Obi wa obekọ no akotua connection man it be at $10,000, $5,000, $6,000 just to get a visa. It's my point is so what me attract Ghana here Juma raise that kind of amount. Why don't you happy to continue what you're doing? Because obi to chromo for past be at 20 years can it be an account. But oko catch no because nya kamumai. You know, though that comment, because there's nothing like homo. I think the last week you didn't come over phone, so I told you a whole lot of things. Opportunity, yes, is here, but being a foreigner to implement it here, no, and don't see another ball game. It's in Ubenyanka, Unya Bibina Konya Bidawa, Nanka, they are co-chrome. What make you think xenophobic want to go back home and invest? Because you chrome where there. Obia how Utuma Mukrata Sembia Nim Ukobia Fatra, Sabita Frat, Iraq and Japan, Obia is still planting at a tibium. But your Chromua, you know what you hustle before even getting the land, But
why don't we tell your leaders and so be opportunities to so man? I don't think so. For instance, but come near Libranti. Yeah. Nim said your conne, but for
the of I do matter make a comment, be that I applaud you. I wish so that's what was say Ghana, yeah, penny for deliberately, and mama come Ohiaba Krunum. And it's a strong statement, and I think that should be the topic of the day. That's not can very strong, very deep. If it goes a long way. Yen penny for na sedan a comedium in other words, and or buy your beckers of an ebano. Men call the car no mamisika. Men call prof at them, Miss Orano Pa, men call to Natadi and one shemmy. Eti no man ohian be dokriensa because ni what the kind in person no di achire ne ba. Da bia hu na na ye ne yesa. Enu nti na ye politicians no, they are not willing to help their constituency. Oba oda VAT mu all pepa ba no or the kotodwe kelpa ne mudum kokromoti ama ne da 2 million no ko. Next time I be hu no oba oda VAT mu oba no aba wa beti good to see you. Jale net say
Obama wipe akra. You say
who drivers are no flashlight no atwam. Say yeah, this mentality. I was so touched when he used that word. Said deliberately. It is our mindset in the penny for na nyaya. Ebe haye. Na afrezu kakra meka say. Mahu say yeah to abani we no. MPP from penny for ni bin offer come out. Almost starting your propaganda some person de ye raba omiaba fair. Ye obi any problem with that. But say mo person oba asem na ye can say let it be open. Every contestant should contest on his own. Mamun koyesa machinery no frakata na esa na san kambom na mo person MPP kambom. It's not going to happen. Nobody has problem with Baumia coming back again. But then again, we don't want that machinery. Me somehow in the beginning, no, you can a Japan fan. Because I listened to him from Source Radio or UK. I heard him. Or support to Kenya, I do by being a chiminensa. No, go deep about me. I forgive him on that part. And then the phone so I be a course. Then any person but you have to do it. Because this time we're not going to allow that again. Baby or man kono. Send the year can say or no one can say we wish mama well. Say or bet me more man. We are all fighting for common goal. Say Ghana best sorry agina. If you penny see a best sorry better kasa. Me say Kamenya crank and by this out to Ghana. Would you know Valanda what beer ho what chow whiskey be? Who we are brand sport what for honum. What you say? Okay, Sasku been a was like from the Sakiado for my don't turn out heavy.
Oh, they say crying a chum, Sakiado, any of you, Sakiado, Jay, no, me idea, no, any of you. Schools, Papa.
Yeah, time is Sakiado, sight and sounds. No muchum, Adabraka, dear home. Not as a and they said, to me, Yasa, enjoyment, need you, and you have a Kobe Manso. It's your best, let's say. MPP for no more, they are wish to say Mama should fail. No, they should watch that brain out. I want my Mama to succeed. In order for the next government, it could be about me again, it could be Kennedy, whoever comes, even Alexamatikwa and Bebana, things will be softened. Not on my bread. But we say man and jingle name failure. When are we going to rise up from that hole? Nearby surface, as I have seen the grow. We shouldn't have that mindset. Okay. Let's wish our country better. Because political sunglasses no and free and Ghana say Ghana and the whole we all belong here, dear. Yeah, man, and even Jesus Christ the background we can succeed. It makes say we should abolish that. None of the try to say no. Media constitutional review now, mama person here. To me, my problem ex-gratia. Presidential ex-gratia, including Akufo-Addo, Bia Sika should be freeze. Akufo-Addo, etimi maye mubi say the Sika beto Ghana. They hold it onto bond. 15 years as all their mind. Now they all got ex-gratia. We are going to hold on also the 15 years as an Isabeka because a Kana to Ghana and we need to cover.
Well, one. And there's no amount of wishing a bit me affected. Amendment affected from now going, not in the past.
No, in constitutional law, no. Now.
Yeah, but there be a old parliament, a old term.
The 8th parliament.
Yes.
Talk about the 8th parliament.
That no ends with that. Amendment is a CR.
Now, lawyer for Akufo-Addo, but Miss Rawas, hello.
The principle is that law be taking retrospective effect. So I say law no konechi.
Okay, Martin.
So
releasing Crawford Canoma holding for 15 years. Up to the point to say, Oba, Rebecca, Lady Chief Justice no besun.
So far,
Kufado. Your own blood also. Wrong policy. They should release the money as soon as possible. What I say, that's why I'm so eager to talk about it. Not near me, they try to back last one.
Already I also trust now brothers also.
Oh, but this is about if you one thing I make mess Ghana for.
The patrol wrapping up now. We're going
to mess Ghana for. I am fair casa be muyi. In terms of Obuasi soldiers ne ko wuye victims now soldier for the shoot to omno. The last time I was watching your sister station from YouTube, UTV, and I already made a profound statement. Bia, a fabino menene drink. Now, or kase, ye mining, more boaseno, AGA no, on my CC school down in hospitals now. That is not enough. I want Anna to go do research and go to South Africa. Baby, to mining, Corona mining woman. Uncle her Corona that one.
Yeah, but when they sign contract, when that's not enough, and you're not so that.
I'm not blaming
you. Signing our contract.
No. Now I'm not praising the mining companies. Oh my God!
Arnold was not praising them. Arnold was only telling you, say, as part of and you're fine, sure, contract into music school. But as part of their own corporate social responsibility, almost the hospital, maybe if you was it, almost the hospital, almost the schools, almost year fine, almost scholarships, they have done it. Yeah, now what's here? This share or more contract. But one Oklahoma would do go diamond that. What are you 50-50 or 60-40? Yeah, you know Nigeria, hey, your chromo oil, no him say 55-45. Young Kwan, you're signing a 5% royalties. And you blaming Kwafon and MPs in Buza question. Say no, all those contracts, yes, 1940s and 1960s. What stops us from changing it?
They still maintain that
contract. What stops us from changing it? The power is in our hands. Into mining company, said me Professor Dino Canada say there are two people in this world. Sabi Jimmy for and Yansafo. And Yansafo all right to be used to Jimmy for Nenyeska. It is up to you to choose which side you belong.
Which side you won't belong.
So politicians will say, no, bit but one and no to me 50-50. Now they also on 5% royalty.
3%.
Because 5% to Dr. Dufo by 3% you. Not Dr. Dufo say 5. So if Dr. Dufo change 5%. Yeah, but at least we change here. I don't changing uncle 50-50. I don't changing uncle 50-50 that time now. Into opening and AGA for. And you know to for or no brony no band there or buy a bond of 1844 or the son happy any I didn't know the media they ever funny as at the one to Afam good. Yeah, and to opening yes. Yes, signing the first international treaty. 1844.
Me man not did him because I judge him wrong. Yeah, I judge him wrong.
Yeah, sorry, US way. By name because signing anti-fracking laws. But Trump by us executive power yeah, executive power to do anything we want. You can change. So misplacify no what they also say massa yeah mama order. Their man must sign from 1940 to 1960 no. Lithium thereby when the Menchia MP was asking the question, I'll say because of a agreement near the demonstration near the from royalties, from changing from 5% to 10%. Carried interest near the end, our Camboma, meaning I basis a Ghana, and almost higher percentage for MIF, Minerals Investment Fund, into Camboma Ghana, Benya 30%. And ya no question, I will say 50. It's shall say, we have the power, any day. Obroni to be finished promo mama yellow mouth into one penny for the say as how I know with Limua, Massa. Or no, dear, Miss, our right to obey you too.
You see why I support Kennedy Japan because he's the only man who send this message out there, say, and
evidence all parliament just propose 50-50 nimra. And you just about all back.
Propose you.
Propose that he should forever hold his peace. Because you pay your best support here, say 50-50. Or
parliament to be no band.
And your parliament, our outside advocacy in your bet me. Advocacy because our fears. Advocacy can be done. It's also in Naya support is a free network. We want to change our mining laws.
Oil have to be 50-50. Your gold have to be 50-50. Your lithium 50. Hey, I don't know what dear. It's on your land. You own it. Now Trump is going to the machine baby to 3%. How stupid can you be? Excuse my language.
It's your penny, fault. It's up to us. And this is what a lot of the young people must know and understand. Say, this is the critical issue.
This energy now, youth need to cook room. They should channel that energy to such this type of policy. These issues, no one fighting with it. No man, 80 million, yes, come on, man, and create a juma. Nasa buha hanin tokwa we nyina suncha because Ghana juma wa akola be na be so raka so kutu okose asase ase akope gold now no video bi ana me hwe how they mine no asase na se pa obi drum or da form say no owia afemi jona me kuma
ofaje unye hwetwe bra me krom omu wuda every week bia na me so afrem na nkofo awu it's sad aduma bi ani ho nti boys nya wankoto mining pit mu a no odidi omochi just say it's just sad it's just bibi any I what am now say
I'm found manusi na system
na system bra good evening oh where you know where the mic
hello good evening
good evening
I just want to continue with the conversation and Alpha Jerry anyway we have with regards to reforms I think if Mahama has come up, President Mahama has come up with ideas here about constitutional review, it should cut across to all sectors.
Well, any idea, Atamo's idea into the manufacturer.
Well, by reinforcing it, and it
Atamo's process no more,
okay, that's a good thing. So I hope that reforms it should also focus on the mining sector because you see, when I say Ghanaians will be a drink on mining sector, and that happens to be the cash cow of the country. And unfortunately, we couldn't manage our asset very well. They said the Mokas a contractor, AGA for sign New Monte for near sign. I don't know how they signed the contract. It's a contract, man, jack a gaps for amendment. It be every 4 years, every 5 years, every 10 years, there are amendments. Because you look at how the world is going now. Now we are still stuck to 5%. It doesn't make sense. Because even as an individual, if you are prepared to cook food, once normally cook food, I don't think that you just hand over the cocoa farm to somebody say, oh, you just give me 5% of the profit.
A very important point when making no 50-50.
50-50. You understand? Sometimes, and I'm a youth, they are getting angry by day because they are not getting work to do. And almost so people are mining our gold. And I notice how many areas are. Especially what's not Kumasi, no what's not sometimes and I drive on that road, you see heavy machines that are being moved to these mining areas. And when you use now when you're a Jumanya, you get angry. You understand? If there is going to be a constitutional reform, sir, we are begging the president. Sometimes you have to be a radicalist to do this kind of things, just like Trump. You see how Trump is signing the executive order. Sabine say, we need to get a radical person or maybe so because so achieve in life. If you are not a radicalist, you can't achieve it. And I'm a Trump, into the best thing for the mining sector, and I say there should be reforms with our contracts. Because if you look at the Boasia, America now UK said this place is a mining area. You're mining good for decades.
Over 100 years, decades, 100.
Yeah, so it's a century. Like you won't believe it. Say even potable water, they can't get it. portable, even what do you call it? Even papa on home they don't get it. But it seems that Yamana is petty to the extent say if you more mine a forest reserve, if you more mine unsumity, ya channel ya drina could do that side that now you forgetting all these things. You understand? Even with this or more mining, now yeah, papa, I don't know. I heard say or the Dumat or something. Now so yeah, he's trying to make say MPP did well with the Galamsey fight. I humbly disagree because be about Galamsey, they would have been voted out in this kind of way. We know how journalists were hounded for doing documentaries on Galamsey. Yaya brother Erastus, he did documentaries on Galamsey, especially in the forest reserves and in our rivers. This same political party hounded him. You understand? In your all can say, my fighting Galamsey. I was a little bit surprised. I don't know, Papa, who was going on in Ghana or what. And we have to let him know, say, we heard Mahama say emphatically, say, those mining in our forest reserve and in our water bodies. And yet blue chip companies now, or my J contractor, or more mining or more deep mining what you call lands, and all best stop here. So sometimes we shouldn't generalize the thing, make it look as if say Mahama didn't so I'm saying that's not what he said. I remember very well. Say more mining or water bodies and forest reserves that are marked forests I am marking as reserves. You understand? And you shouldn't make it look
as market reserves. So no month 4 days say they are in a forest reserve, but legitimate mining or more concession.
Unless they are government and allocated some portion. After mining, they do reclamation and planting.
Oh, big mining companies in there. They don't.
If you know the dangerous aspect of a forest reserve. Me, when I was in Ghana, my friends they are into mining told me say one bad thing a bit more illegal miners say omo kenyana no ma to anwere buso e dua bu a ye betimi atwitwa e dey wood e dey plywood near you now because they are looking for gold. When they cut the trees they just heap sands on it and let the excavator ride on it. It's just a degradation in the different forms. You understand? We are just hoping. Me, I'm hoping say John Mahama like he'll get the strength to do it. If he doesn't get that strength, Ghanaians will be very mad at him. Me, I campaigned for him. Say,
don't show balls now. Kufuor don't to me. You should show the same thing and be radical.
Because look, is the water reserve, is the water bodies and the forest reserve that Ghanaians are mostly concerned about. Because with land mining, you understand? But with the water bodies and the forest reserves now is being degraded in that level, no? And you try to say you should fight against it. But it shouldn't be say, oh, it's just neglect. Because I think a couple of days ago, say NDC for be a call. Forest reserves even mine.
And Rastos, and run.
Yeah, Rastos did it, and it's very, very shameful. And I think a president, he needs to come out, state his position clearly. Let us know, say he's fighting Galamsey, and he should warn his members, say, "Mo be an cause or mining." Oh, na motivate a man for. Because if President Mahama keeps silent about it, it motivates party members to also go to the forest and do the illegal thing. Don't go the same thing now. Credibility is at stake because the goodwill people gave you, you are not, capitalizing on it to work. Until we are begging him, say you should state his position this week now. The one we see from
this week, from Obuasi, the enterprise should have stated his position. Say because Obuasi boys say, so they were told they say, buy a better check concession. That's why they went there.
Is that one says I did never be saying just
from Obuasi to the Erasto Kenya, you know you're wrong, and somebody must stop it before.
2 days ago, I think yesterday, the same thing. Bibiani is also boiling up because guys, I say contractor AG for ne BBN for no coin. They say they will do a resettlement plan for Oma or more year mining or area, but it seems some person be resettlement and no delay. Until they were massing up at those mining areas, which is also coming up. If you are into, I think say the government should take a critical look at contract or money amount for us. Also, obey you can say resettlement. We make it also be resettlement. To say the new Kenya as a phone, and the resettlement should be of quality of standard. And they say be on the 2-bedroom, a dime basa be a diamond at least. Omuna good and all massage. At least they need to benefit. You understand?
It stops with the minister. Minister know what Kukudra, he can do all that you are saying.
And seriously, this week they need to come out. President Mahama needs to come out, state his position. Roll out the procedures on Beko. Now mining in the water bodies, in the forest reserve. At least it should halt. That's the most important. It should halt.
Set of the operation halt to be enjoyed the oil. Nana, good evening.
So meeting okay. Lady can meet you bushing for you na I'm sure be a way. But I was in here to my power. May lady kind and I do meet you baby. I will be Wabo Juma, why Juma when coupon 1 year menipa. Baumia, then ya paper. Yen said, Unyami see I won't let them. May ya na metise bimo case Mahama. Oba be ye bibi na ye moano anase ye mompa ye manoa me ya na menti ase papa no ono oba no no wo na adwene na onim nia oba be ye because a revenge and I know they break Ghana for enya de papa bia no obe ya ma Ghana obi ntimase sister bia me de because of one ye wo hona o ka kire ye say na na do a renty plane bad, so bad. Say, Argentina, you war plane or na do a renty plane. A bra papa nim dear na all ye say. Sam reno na ye plane na ye wono. Onti me friend 2 coin. Obi ba begina e ho can say o plane no toilet room crash and no ye de ba be ye asem kind. John Mahama ba ya den one for plane na 2 coin. Na okokoji ni nua plane. Because papa no onimonia oye onim se oba be Ghana for abro onim so oba be ye bone atia Ghana
na ni plane mo na mutuaka
agent na se so okoji ni nua plane oye ni nua no oye Ghana for president nya ni nua president enti die na nado ye no
o kabia wo hunti abro no
agent na kire se ye moka na odi mama amfiri so na sister fi atie say ya moka wo ho a ye ni ho na ni nuane ka say oti odoni mu na oni machines and so ka say this Ghana for the ye machines emano ye hu ye na machine bi na
1 year sa
1 year ska na machine bi na voter region
na to no machine de renting kopo ono ni machine to
ye Ghana die na ye de ma no o ka say odi no ma di and echo voter region. Sisters, one more year, sir, a wo peace effort. Because onye Juma, no my president in Juma, onye Juma, ya to aba amano, ya to abama John Dramani Mahama, say or say, Oba my free education, no, ayeye, or say, Oba, obetwa betting taxi mo, or catch na yes, sir, Oba, Obama, yes, Rani say, LGBTQ, no, obetwam, Nina no one him say, family quite so, and so Oba, your friend one who say, family quite so, say, be Ghana for, ye more damn, ye need down. Ye pneumonia media John Mahama meaning say MPP when you 8 years 81 call Galamsey Pete on no ebuase no na chere John Mahama woni movie because omo new di car time say ya to abani wi a ade a ye be ye ni ye te ho na ebuase omo be gina ho ka kire ye say ya to abana omo abebobo
ampanyo o man e boboye na nka obi awe ne oboase mo ko ise chinchina mo na ma we ne enenye MPP ni na we ne oboase enti media John
point na Mahama isa fe no aba oni ebusume kranti
media media me person me kanyina ne say mamu nka nkyerɛ me say me mo mpa ye ma no sister fia me mo aha me mo mpa
30 million Ghanaians o mo maka bebo mpa ya
me ma busuafo ene ye ne ye nuan ma ye yehu adansefo ene ayi nyina ye mo mpa ye ma no
ye wadans bon ka so mo mpa ya ma no ye
wadans na da wuni ma sole ya me ma me ko
ye wadans mo respect you all leaders tu no mo nto aba no ba mo
ka sister fia ma me ka ma asem na aha
eti tu omo because me so ma me ejoba ni omo nka so mo
sister fia wo anko yehu ane wo anko bi me dey me ko ne pa
me ko before many years
me ko jo me na mo si di valley
me wo afon kan be bia so mo mpa ya ma jo Mahama omo
anya me bo
enti stevie ma leader bi o bebe bia nti wo so wo na wo de ho ana wo so wo family mo mpa ya Mahama
me dem see ya mo mpa enti stevie ya me person me kan say
say wo fa mpa ya me bo a
o se me ya de
what ya say wo no family mo fa mpa ya me bo a
ani mi nuan ma ye hu adansi fo nyina
me see your what as one kan omo mpre
me see your family ye hu adansi fo
omo kro mo nsuma o
me no
nsuma o
enti sister bia
no mo maka nso mo mpa ya mama
na afi so ayi Pentecost for kra munya ibo because aya me ya ohun aya me ya efri say
ya luzu ya nko na o de kasa
daddy sister bia me to ya ni me ka o ya ni me fie o me MPP for me ka kire wo mo obi so obi a me ka kire wo mo say ni a wo mo ye no e koma wo mo ma ne de nkrofo abatan ya wo ma ni abre se no ma nkoye no wo mo ma wo ma ni nko wo mo ho no wo mo se me ya nye me ka ya nyi me fie still me ti me ba wa yi so e ba be kire ma adwen obi me ma me didi obi atem no obi akọ me over NDC for a UK a me ne wo mo ti say obi a mo me oti asie me ma me di watem me ba be ka ma adwene oti asie enti me ye ko je ayi ka no ya friend say ayi o ma ne wa e de ka no me ka ya nkoje enti die me person me ka e ma say John Mahama me ya papa excellency oba no o wona adwene because a boys need the canning it nasi but in tele no all call round now all organize the boys almost catch and say your bar the MPP for yan she a beba be yebi enti anya me wan say one must say one so call no one so akọ mine no eye sema woman ni ne kai enti misre
ye obeti mu ye bi no mo so copy mo dia anya hwe o se mu ye
me we ya me go and people swear kwa ye stefia me wo mo am me ne wo mo nya adwene say am na ye wie ya na abronya ejeje cars no say opa ukọ back to ye papa kwa msefa kan e program so am frɛ ya me ka say dia abronya no obi kura be didi matem say me nya pipi ni me ya me ka chen say dia oye no oma embra na nkasa nye dai okoko fi adam se ho any ayi ni nyina meka nti ene no omo didi mu a eye mu amasem but the obeye o man ni ye ni de eye bawomia apart from bawomia obi ani Ghana bi me da se no kura na meka no me say
bawomia ni nyame
me bawomia
obi ani obeba asase betimi aye
nyame mfasa ma
ye reincarnate no ba nkroma kra ntumi mo aje say bawomia
David apart from bawomia because ideas are credit score no nko ano what the bag Ghana yi Ghana ahoto aba nyame nshira
anade ya sembe nkre ni party food soldiers party politics like that na I mean
sister
we have a man say hey politics be nkre ni say obi si na ochi miensa pay in opposition and I won't do me also momba e man na do obi message us and no just 3 weeks in opposition crowd also to me Into Mumbai Mama Hama. Nana Obisi, this man is in intensive pains. Nana, Obisi, I can just say you are in intensive pains. Yaw plan out because now you have opposition better who's why yama. Oh, Mumbai man and Mohammed. Unim go for glass why there were almost what you call my Mumbai Mama Hama. Hey, where's the day I said, fine, say, let's buy every point. Buy. That's about how much I could just buy and come back to me at all. And you must see this guy, pa. How can you say things like this about John Ramama and his brother? Just who come from Grofobo? Oh, no, say we'll be praying for him for the success of Ghana. Just say, someone buy my found buy. Now, Ghana, you know, 30 something million. No, and I am graduating you, right?
If you have a child, I think I am a normal thing in the yeah, and the more for you now. Hey, sister, if you have me say, Jehovah, more rep no or customer more. My brother no bad.
Well, nana day. Me go Jehovah.
Oh, now
they go Jehovah.
They don't have brand to the car. So, of course, we've been an hour. So,
I'm not saying I'm go Jehovah. I'm not going to go Jehovah. If you're saying I'm not go Jehovah, and I'm the matter. Jehovah for teaching the anyone more, my cousin. Almost my president. Almost they respect all leadership. Just the Abana, and they will not be part of worldly leadership. But they vote, they pray for every leadership. They say it's my leaders near the air. And in another, no, rep for you are for maybe,
you leaders, they say about mom. If you say, my brother, and you didn't say, or my penny, when your security briefings, they are or mine on, and that was like a kill. And you're my coso. Now, my penny, one man, decision you about affecting security. No one first the right decision. Me no need to remember to one.
Yeah.
Attack here now. Me no need o man actually. So it is not in anybody's interest to say o man pay you about one time man. What the own pen.
I even Bible no nana the anyway Christian Bible no say that the heart of the king is in the hands of God.
Yeah.
And it's one man pay amadi o ti akonwa no so a. O de kotu jemu ase obi abeko jenimo me boa.
And campo na was a pressure for and I think say politics no yeah advanced in you say you may go on ma it is not about person say you on pay mama so about no coin was about obesako or kwa manga na down meboa you know let's see beyond I mean the immediate short term and look at long term sabi you near from and pay me gentle giant and then gentle giant on your man pay you. So, so that now come and bring in
Inkaso,
into a democracy. I mean, we be and then money.
And I tell with gentle giant example, yeah, my Kufoba obey NHIS my the Obon man or the Ambon man, so be used to be.
Exactly.
So, Mama Bay also a free first year education. Oh, Nana, the Obon man, one man, so often to be Bekobi. It is in your own interest to pray for each leader.
Yeah.
So at your hands, you know, yeah. Some politics in there, but we should respect their Bible. No cannot say, but some Paul can in the scripture say we should respect every leadership and pray for them. Paul can say, "Bompire my leaders, no." So,
Trump intimacy say Trump about me bompire man na ya bompire man na dia e wodo come so do come make wrong moves dia ya crop na ya obetire right and for us to abama no want to abama intibaby no. We need to pray for our leaders because so the more facing decision will be taking account really have ramifications for all of us. But sister, Fia, my member Galamsey issue, so I think said, oh my God, they see a democracy now ye politics some fi Galamsey ya anya na sabi ho be because impact na ba affecting na enyi ba ko enyi won sin chenka so ye MPP ni nti wo de e be ma different treatment wo ye NDC ni de be ma different treatment. But maybe how they say Ghana for them pioneer because me say and I for the British minister no be shoot and kill. I'm a Ghana for ya sorry me name the shoot and kill kaya njantimo shoot and kill obe kaya shoot and kill so more mu ye sa champagne ye manu so
if you almost almost share excavators because we fought against it.
It Ghana for no say see then because before man pay your mama be Time manager mama on. Now we're facing problem with Galamsey. Now your resolves how. And then I put forward the new vim or so on no board in the presidency better so. And no so buy or no so buy any the shoot and kill in Alcohol. Ghana 4 years answer it here say shoot and kill their man yet. And the minister, because the minister no, at some point he was so frustrated, so they defended how shoot and kill no. Say in so much dear, who him now combine or honor. The ebe ya be soldier for to mugu abonte so moko. Yes, any man. Ye Ghana 4 years out to any esi soldier for so ebu ma bem bu minister na bem. Na method ban na isi ya de ba be mo mampeli jo mama ye implemented as ya nkosa radical method na ye can end so no am e nyina fa ya support aban na man use that radical method. Na isi method ban pa na ye de ba ye betimi asop sa nkofri omo say na life e wo forest ni. Your life no motion of forest no because they are not following the right processes, the right procedure. They are not restoring the land. They are not doing any money in now minister minister designate Honorable Kofi Amaboa Emma the answer no clarify or mampaign some more kind or can say some big companies go on my no problem politicians now or Marco share Galamsey no problem. In this position no question Galamsey no don't even follow their big mining companies in the year. Then what business do we have as politicians not exposing them? Information with them. What are we doing? Why are we not exposing them? Why are we not bringing them up? Because now it is telling me, sir, the big mining companies are not necessarily the problem. We're able to regulate them. It means, sir, they will be able to, or they say, reclaim our lands and do all the necessary manner at least. And into this, if you are the Minister Oban said, Minister Misrewa, I fight when you say, Oba. Na politicians and want to make your mama now be kata so and never embody one's own call for NDC for to also feel like they can also get in
your advice to Minister Anissa is you name and shame all the politicians behind it.
Yes, you politicians call Mona or more have a buying them are buying 3 years edgeman. Now young Ghana for you know how them one minister because a minister named me and she near my own microphone. A bit embody on one microphone to also face they also have the right to do the same thing.
Okay.
In the best minister, and I said, yeah, and ye did agron because I'm sure ye a baby terminal, ye no, in so a banamo chromo crying. Now, a beha yena, into minister, Oban, Kofi Amaboa, Esrawa, Bomodiana politicians now cast or mono creative problems, and send our car of bet to 1 minute. Mesrewa, Wobana would do her pets, our politicians in Pacho, Bomodiana for Munina, into Jamaica. We are all interested in finding out politicians call Moya Sadian. I'm bad now maybe akakra because you were very confident about what you were saying and you were trying to or the same Uber companies you were trying to excuse the big companies. International fire buffon ko big company because say anko no be brain so the obufo akoshe big companies no obuasi dey minister so be
it's not the fault of those big companies. Yeah.
Intino mesrawa minister bwa omampeni na se be omampeka no or no within the 4 years or Ghana mine or mine. Ye no or qua say a beha yina and yen pesa besana about from a banso or fall into the same repetitive problems. 90 minutes of binti ye be wow now holding BS or the commas idea with yet me sanitize space no not for politicians saying now holding you enquire no near me save you and mesra aboinian so wow near me save you or mine and yes sir Erastus Ekano started dimu na yentimi and stamping a feet immediately sister fia near ma politicians no abi esambe mudia any Ghana trade union if one na no so mo koye strike no demo drama
it is yes
more assembly for this is the time I message to you say me pamocho money aban no mombo aban no enya strike and enya threat no and then the ambo aban na fe no aba mo fa sa hoden no emfa pressure no nto aban no so na mombo ano no mbo yina na enye ntimi mbo ayo na mamu nkoma blanket saying that say be call strike be call and then the mesra
that doesn't solve the problem. Yeah,
because every say you mo not Ghana man and say aban no notice aban so do Ghana man aban na call run for campaign you tizu me say anasa trade you me say ma call run the whole Ghana campaign actually the whole Ghana and who say na Ghana tie o man pay no put no ko the whole Ghana into won timi kan say wo do Ghana essence o man pay no ono so Galamsey issue e ma no into mo fa sa respect ni die no e ma no CSO Mama pretend say munim nyasa say aban na wa ban too much. It's advocacy, more influence with more polish, more research. But don't go trying to be authoritative to the government as you said. Abano Aban said, "We no dogana na mo dogana na mo researcher." Abano they said, "Or it bonko bi not." You will not get to be able to influence the people in authority to do the right things. See, play a role like this. We'll be able to help each other. But say, oh, you want to throw the government overboard. You want to pretend so wouldn't be there saying by now. So we said, you get, just right over him like that.
I think you are spot on, Nanaya.
Influence policymakers, they have the authority now. We can work with them, and then they also reach out and they also be willing to take their suggestions, on board. Sister, if you are
that's the passport on because they all kind of very important. Yeah, gidi akakabensem kasa a oni abane be kasa no weti may influence change. And yes, they be our press conference now threatening government no they be. Come out person kasa me send do message sit up no atna se fine. She said they go for TV so my and let me be open to take there. It's okay obeti me ada ho. Enti Lillian Akosia be there because God bless President Mama because na ho brase ene ahofama a wo magana na ye akuaso so say nana ya waka say ye pa ena friend say Charlie Opoku say good job nana ya wakasa pa friend say agoisa pa say I'm so refer to BPT o si kwana kotua 400 Ghana cedis na next time agoisa pa ya embezo obi abebi obi atem just make your point. You don't have to use some words nipa no beto ase what I say don't use some words isi go say adena Nana they are supporting Nana that's on Mompaye na Mahaman na NDC for Ben and on Mobo Mpaye Emma Ekufado until one they all support say or so on Mompaye mana Mompaye man easy for the I don't know. If I say Nana outside we am a guy pa for the beer of Casabia was 7 talk asumunti me amejo number na me no akasa no so ne de no and Emmanuel so do you think NDC people were praying for Nana do ana it is Nana that's on to Mompaye man yenya no mo no kama why ready so bekasa mpatwa ya mo ba hanum say ya hanso you obi office you e ko akire nti no atena se kama na wo da mpem adwodo ade mo a wonim baby a video no ko kan ya bi wo ha betimi aso ba hanum say ya ko akire nti no atena kan ya bi wo ha betimi aso ana kan ya ni adwuma nti ye hu anim kan ya no ni emba nti ye hu anim aye dark next time no aso wape kan ya bi agina ho no aso cause ya shut up marrying radio and television for the same time but I wasn't go for obi afa na ya adan 4x4 people need to see you, engage with you, fraternize with you na ye nyina ye to adwene abo amagana akona nim ti na kama ye be ni next week no aso kan ya no na ye nyina ye hu na ya bonko say dem aso me de me so kan ya na is better and they see me soon. Sana, you know, my asese munyamo enjoy in the discussion. Wednesday, Wednesday, we'll be focusing more on Ghana for America, no more Nigeria for the deportation, yeah, the church alone in them. Wow, visa there are ways I was so and now Papa Jerry buy no more can so we seek about $10,000 yeah. And connection so brooch, abra winning crata. Yes, sir. They say we do a brooch now one yesterday, bet you was some nti sabe nyansa to ho na wan kwanko ye mistake what I say It's Wednesday will be giving you all the right information with the immigration lawyers what the law says men ko ti obi fufu bia na wan come out fake bia what I say it's no.
What I am saying is that we are going to stop all these illegal mining activities in our forest reserve with these measures that I have described. The Blue Water Initiative, the Tree for Life Initiative, and Restore Ghana initiatives to make sure that we harness our forests and bring back biodiversity and the ecological life of our forest. We are going to do that. But we are not going to open ourselves for further